I was a career criminal. I would do anything. 2015 is when my father died. Instead of grieving properly, I poured myself into what ended up being a large-scale drug distribution operation. At the height of it, if I didn't hit 100 pounds on a week, I consider that a slow week.
How much money is it?
You're looking at just under $1 million. One of the girls that I had working for me, she goes on to roofie me. She drugged me. She reports that to these 3 guys that had just gotten out of jail. They were very well-known robbers. While I'm unconscious on the bed, he absolutely was about to kill me. One of the hardest experiences I've ever had in my life. I did 6 months in solitary confinement. When you're in that cell for 24 hours a day, you don't even have a window. When I got out of prison, I start noticing a lot of weird things. Marked police cars. I'm out doing landscape jobs and they're just happen to be, just patrolling. But it just became like so pervasive. Your privacy's gone. The counter surveillance that you were thinking of is not gonna work for you.
We never had privacy. We're never gonna have privacy. Every single day it's getting less and less and less.
I lost everything I love. And like I told you, it hurts. The truth hurts, man. And this is the truth.
Ryan, before we dive into all the technology that the government uses, the CIA, Mossad, FBI, all the tracking devices, all the surveillance, counter surveillance, before we get into all that good, juicy stuff, let's dive in and see what your background is and your upbringing and what got you here.
Okay, so my name is Ryan Gobble. So I am from North Carolina, Lexington, North Carolina. It's a population of about 17 to 20,000. So I grew up a relatively normal, not exceptional childhood, great parents. Both of my parents were teachers. I was raised the right way. So going on to what I did later, it surprised some people. But I went through high school, was always a high performance student. I went to the University of North Carolina, Charlotte for undergrad. During my time in Charlotte there, that's when I started getting into drug distribution. It started off very small for personal usage, just to pay for my stuff. But I was very good at it, and I enjoyed the things that came with that life. So I slowly went into it more. 2015 is when my father died. I had just graduated from UNC Charlotte. I graduated with honors, chancellor's list, summa cum laude, got a job, great job at a real estate law firm. The plan was always to go to law school after that. At that time when my dad died, I reacted to his death in a maladaptive way. Instead of grieving properly, I poured myself into what ended up being a large-scale drug distribution operation, and that was the beginnings of it. I quit my job at the real estate law firm. At this time, my mother was struggling back home. I needed to prepare for the bar, or not the bar, the LSAT, which is the entrance exam for law school. I needed a chance to study for that. So I'm like, I'm just going to use this opportunity as a way to, study for that, support my mom. And the thing is, I lost out on that income from the job that I had. So I went back immediately to the job that I previously had. I was a bartender at the Melting Pot restaurant. It was a fondue restaurant. I started doing that, and then it got to the point where I'm moving so much weed that's getting in the way of, me like making my transactions. I did that it was about a year. That allowed me to study for the LSAT. I got a scholarship I got into all the schools that I wanted to get into. I got into Wake Forest, I got into North Carolina, and I got into Elon University School of Law. I got a scholarship offer to Elon University School of Law, and I took it. So during this time, it's slowly ramping up. During times it was, it would level out as far as the intensity of the operation.
You're talking about the drug operation?
Yes. The drug operation.
How much drugs we talking?
Okay, so at the height of it, and this was, the year was probably towards the end of 2018.
Like dollar amounts?
Yeah, so a slow week, I was telling him, we're looking at, if I didn't hit 100 pounds on a week, I consider that a slow week.
How much money is
that? At the end of the year, if you're doing that much and I'm making, but mind you, my margins per pound, per unit, got to dumb low levels. I'm talking like $100, $200 per pound. But at that volume, that equals out to a lot. So in the end of the year, you're looking at just under $1 million. So it was lucrative. It was lucrative for me. I didn't come from money. That was my first taste of money. I liked it a lot. I liked the power of it, the lifestyle, the speed of it. It was a lot. When you're in law school, it's a 40-hour-a-week obligation. Okay, to maintain a drug operation, that's at least a 40-hour-a-week obligation. I'm up for 3 days at a time sometimes. Struggling to make it to class. I'm getting drove everywhere. I've got drivers. I've got multiple people working for me to help run these things, run all the units. And I did everything. I did everything from like wholesale all the way down to bust down, like down to a gram. I'll run that, anything, man. I'm hustling, So, yeah, that takes up a lot of time and energy. So in addition to that, during that time, when the money's really building up, I'm like, damn, I got to do something with this money, So I start a landscape company, with the initial idea, I'm just going to clean this money like this. Well, the landscape company in itself ended up being successful. It was commercial and yeah. So on top of everything else, then I had to run a landscape company.
So you got 3 jobs essentially.
Yeah. So you got law school. I've got the drug operation, which just continues to expand and get more and more wild. And then that, and mind you, I didn't have a landscape contractor background, but I'm out there like trying to get the license, and I'm getting sued. My guys are screwing jobs up, and I'm getting sued for like, tens and $20,000 and $30,000, $40,000. And, I'm having like fights. I'm having to teach myself how to defend a civil suit while I'm in law school, and honestly, it was good. It was a good practical experience,
You're like practicing it and learning it at the same time.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, everything from business creation and all that stuff, that was actually like really cool. During law school, man, it was a crazy time. I didn't even get to experience like the atmosphere, what law school was. I mean, that should be an amazing time for a lot of people. All I was looking forward to every day was, I got to get out of here. This is getting in the way. I was a Dean's List student in law school. That's the top like 8% of a very small class. Law schools, they're the best of the best of undergraduates. So I'm performing at that level with all this stuff going on. So if I would have just like applied myself to just, being an attorney, I'd be sitting pretty right now. I'd probably be on social media like Sierra Norris right now. But yeah, right now, instead, I'm Rebuild with Ryan.
So what happened?
So it continues to escalate. And I do graduate from law school. During this time, I do graduate from law school. By the end, it was by the skin of my teeth. Like, I'm just barely doing enough to make sure that I'm getting the passing grade so I can get this law degree. Wasn't a Dean's List student there the last year of law school because I'm just making so much money. I'm making so much money doing this. We're about to start a restaurant. We're getting into rental properties, like all this stuff, And so that's the future of that. But like, and my whole identity had shifted, towards that person. Like I'm like you see on my bio on Rebuild with Ryan, it says career criminal turned attorney. I mean, that's really what it was. I was a career criminal. I would do anything. I like, all said and done to this day, man, fraud, like every substance except opiates, just because of the danger and everything involved with that. Stimulants.
So what happened that basically broke the...
So the thing that unraveled, it was just this total like fluke, situation that normally a federal case, it's...
You got a federal case?
Yeah. Eventually got a federal case. It started off as a state case, but you'll hear about that. Now, when you got that much weed, you got to have a lot, you're moving that much, you have to have places to store it, at least for a few days at a time. Obviously, I'm not going to do it in my house. I've got traps in Winston-Salem, traps in Greensboro, traps in Charlotte, and then I'm running all over the place, all the colleges, everything, So like, I'm not leaving 100 plus pounds in my house, but it got to the point where
weed's illegal in the state.
In the state of North Carolina, weed is illegal. Yes. And it's not a priority now as far as enforcement, cannabis. But at the time, it wasn't a priority then either, but they would look at it, That's not necessarily the nexus in my case that got the feds involved. But what happened with my case was one of the girls that I had working for me, she essentially had wiggled her way close to me. She was answering phones for the landscape company. Another guy who worked for me, that was her ex-boyfriend or boyfriend, whatever. But she's with me one day, and she's a real pretty girl, like she tells me, just comes up, hey, I've been like, he's been beating me. Like, I'm scared, And so I'm like, I hear that and I'm like, all right, well, like, let's keep you close. Let's figure this out. Let's try to help you out. I got that tendency. And so that began what essentially snowballed into a relationship. Aside, like, she was like a side piece. I was engaged to a great woman, who supported me. Like, there's just no reason for it. That's the type of person I was. But, anyway, at this time, that's the type of person I was. Long story short, this was not a good girl. This was just like a hood, like, just a hood rat, conniving, setups, all that stuff. And I knew it. I knew this about her, And I'm thinking, oh, not me, not me. I'm too smart. I'm too smart and slick for this. Well, long story short, she goes on to roofie me. She drugged me one day when I was out with her. At the time, I was using a lot of Adderall, right, to stay awake for long periods of time to finish all this work that I had. Basically, what was happening for a while, like at that day, the effect of that, the stimulant effect, the upper effect, was like fighting the roofie, like the sedative effect of it. So that was like conscious for like, hours. Then I felt unconscious later that night. She reports that to these three guys, right, that had just gotten out of jail. They were very well-known robbers. Like they're only like 20 years old, but they're jack boys. They're well-known for it. And I knew that they had just gotten out of jail. And I told the girl, I was like, if I see them, like, I'm gonna kill them, like on sight, and there's no reason for them, to be near me. But anyway, I'm unconscious. You know what I'm saying? And she knew it, and she calls them. I see this whole thing play out on my security cameras at the home. They come to the house, three of them. Apparently they converged through the woods. This was well orchestrated. There's other people involved with it too. They thought this was a stash spot. They thought they're about to get like 100 pounds or more. They think they're about to get some cash and like a jewelry, like all this shit, but it wasn't. This was where I lay my head, man. But like I said, I had just got sloppy. I'd let some stuff build up. I'd let packaging build up. I'd let USPS boxes build up, vacuum seals. There might have been maybe 7 pounds of weed there that I needed to like move the next day. And then some guns. I liked guns a lot. But long story short, they converge on the home and they come to the front door. My dogs are there, right? That's all it's in. Now, earlier that day, my fiance had found out about the girl. So thank God she was not there for this. I don't know what would happen if she was there for this. But the dogs are at the door, right? And they apparently, I see them going around the house on the cameras after the fact. I guess they're like communicating with each other somehow. Like, hey, we can't get in. Like they're looking in the windows and stuff so they can see me. I'm laying out on the bed, passed out. The police, and it's crazy. I talked to the officers who responded to this call. They say to this day, they've never seen a case stranger than that right there. Because anyway, what happened? The guys, they couldn't get in, so one of them takes out a snub-nosed revolver, shoots the dogs through the door. You hear them yip, and you see them bust through the door, all three of them, same time, and they run into the house. And I didn't have camera feed inside the house. One of the guys, they got caught later. I'll get into that. They got caught. One of the guys cooperated and wrote out a pretty detailed narrative. One of the guys, he goes by Glow on the street. He's in prison right now in Guilford County. He's looking at a triple homicide right now. This guy, and in that narrative, in the narrative he wrote in the cooperation affidavit or whatever, he said that he saw the guy. I'm not gonna say his name. Glow saw Glow hold the gun up to me right this while I'm unconscious on the bed, and knowing this guy now and how many people he's killed with reckless disregard, he absolutely was about to kill me. And this other guy, the other robber, I call him 6'8", and he stopped him he's like, nah, he's out. He's like, you're like, nah. And if he wouldn't have done that, I'm almost certain that he would have shot me and I got killed. just evidenced by what he's done in the past like year. Yeah, he got out of prison. The thing is, I'll get back to the story. So later that night, they were caught. The police responded to my home after the neighbors heard the shots fired. You know, they shot through the door. They heard, you know, there's neighbors right here. So they called the cops. The cops respond. They come in, find me unconscious. They're able to get me conscious enough, like, to just come to, right? And all I remember is like this overwhelming burning feeling in my abdomen, whatever it was that was going on, whatever she gave me. But I was just barely conscious. And all I remember them saying is, your dogs are dead. And I remember seeing my fiance come in. I remember seeing a couple of my guys come in. They weren't arrested, and I wasn't arrested that night. My theory is that I wasn't arrested that night because they didn't have sufficient, probable cause to. The house was in my fiance's name. The vehicles in the driveway were all in my fiance's name. Utilities were in my fiance's name. So there was not a sufficient evidence there to show exclusive control by me, to show constructive possession. Therefore, they didn't arrest me that night. The following day, I get a call that I need to come down to the police department. Remind you got no obligation. You have no obligation to go talk to the police when they call you or when they come to visit you. If they don't got a search warrant, you're not subpoenaed, you got no obligation. But I told my fiance the whole time that, if anything goes down, like this is on me. You're straight. And so that's what I did. I went down to the police department. I went in there. There's 2 local detectives. There was 2 ATF agents. When I saw the ATF agents, I probably should have known at that point, like, yeah, this is probably going to end up federal. But it was just like the stuff that they'd seized off the guys wasn't that much stuff. They found 7 pounds of weed. Back at the house, they found some concentrates, they probably found like 2 pounds of wax, and then they left some there. There's other substances that they didn't find. They found some firearms too. I purchased my firearms legally, but there was one firearm that I had modified in a way that made it a Class 3 weapon, which the federal charge for that is unregistered firearm. At the state level in North Carolina, that charge is called possession of a weapon of mass destruction. Okay. Yeah. So
what did you do that made it?
What was it?
It's a Draco, so it's a miniature AK-47, fire 7.62 rounds. All I did was, I got a collapsible stock. There's this loophole that, so like a Draco is about this big, but it's sold as a pistol, if you put a foregrip like this on it, that makes it a short barrel rifle. Or if you put a stock on it so you can shoulder it, that makes it a short barrel rifle. There's this loophole where, yes, you know about it. Yeah. So but me, I'm like, I don't want this one, man. I want this collapsible one. I want to be able to like keep it compact and pull it out. Man, you know what I'm saying? Like I needed that thing, man. I carried that thing everywhere. So that's what I did. That made it a Class 3 weapon. And, that would eventually, ironically, get me most of the amount of time that I got in the feds. Most of the time that I was sentenced on came from that.
All for a stock.
From that weapon. Not as much the drugs or anything, but they found guns, they found the marijuana, they found the concentrates, and some cocaine also. They found 4 ounces of cocaine on the guys. And I still maintain to this day, like, that I didn't have any cocaine in that house, but it might have been. It might have been theirs, it might have been mine. I don't know. All I know is they charged me with it. They charged me with it. And so it started off as a state case. They give me it started off as a $320,000 bond. So it was $32,000. Took me a few days and I came up with that and posted it. Then as soon as I get out, like local tales start, I remember going to the jewelry store like an idiot, like I'm telling you, a few days after I got out, because during that robbery, they'd taken a tennis bracelet, and because I wanted a new tennis bracelet, and I'm going in the same undercover that that interviewed me, like before he booked me into the jail. I guess he was going to see if I wanted to talk or wanted to try to like cooperate my way out of it. He's like, hey, so we're going to talk, or are you going to get lawyer up? And I'm like, I'm going to lawyer up, dude. And he's like, all right, yeah, take him back. It was that dude. And it's just like no tax to it at all. Like just coming right in front of me. What's up? Like, and then that whole year after that, I'm getting pulled over pretextually by the police for like minor traffic violations, and them trying to like pull me up out of the car, telling me, "Oh, we smell weed. We smell weed." They love that as like or probable cause, to get you out of the vehicle, conduct a search. So that happened probably like 5 times, like on the year. But they're not catching me with anything. What happened? I feel like, and I know that my fiance knew everything about me. I mean, almost. So she told them when the ATF like came to her, and they're like, "Hey, look, your name is on this house. Your name is on these utilities. She ain't built for that, man." So she quickly rolled, quickly, and she told them everything she could, and I think like they saw the scale of things was just like slipping under like the local authorities' nose. They know I'm smart too. They know I'm a law. They know I was like just graduated from law school. They know I know the law, So I feel like they took it like personally, trying to think that like I was trying to outsmart them or something, or that type of thing. And it really wasn't like that. But yeah, they're mad. And I feel like that's why I kept getting pulled over pretextually and all this stuff, trying to catch me with more, I'm not sure why the feds ended up taking it, because if the substances that I just told you, that's not a lot. That is not a lot in the realm of the feds, I'm blessed and thankful that because it could have ended a lot worse for me. It could, like, if they had infiltrated like the operation and tried to charge a RICO or something like that, it would have brought down like a dozen people or more, and who we're not really built like that either. So I'm blessed in that respect.
How many years did you get?
So what I got the federal charges. Once I got federally indicted, and the U.S. Marshals came and picked me up, took me to federal holding in Forsyth County, which is they have a federal holding contract. The charges that I received federally were possession with intent to sell and deliver cocaine, possession with intent to sell and deliver marijuana, maintain a drug-involved premises, possession of an unregistered firearm, and 924C, the one that everybody hates, possession of a firearm and furtherance of a drug trafficking crime. That's the federal exclusive that most states don't have that charge. It's when you possess a firearm and they're trying to say that you are furthering your drug operations, you're protecting your operations with the firearm. So it's specifically meant for that situation. So it has a mandatory minimum of 5 years, not the 924C. And what they do is they stack on consecutively, not concurrently, consecutively, they stack the drug charge on top of it. So for my case, I'm looking at the mandatory minimum of 5 years for the 924C plus the cocaine that they found. That was more than the amount of weed and the concentrate.
But they only found a couple ounces.
Doesn't matter. Cocaine's
4 ounces.
Yeah.
That
cocaine's federally is.
That was about 3 years added on top of the 5. So I'm looking at 8 years going into this. At this point, I'd bonded out of jail twice, spent like $50K on a lawyer or more than that. And I've got other money wrapped up in crypto, and I can't get to it. I had this like weird roundabout way where I'm using multiple different people to put cash money into these Bitcoin ATMs, that had started emerging, and that's how I'm getting having to get cash and shit there at the end. But those are the ones they charged me. So I'm looking at 8 years. First plea they come with, and I got this bullshit I got this horrible lawyer who is a Criminal Justice Act appointed attorney, as a public defender, which is private. A Criminal Justice Act attorney is it's a private attorney who takes court-appointed cases. They get paid significantly less than they get paid for their private caseload. the first interview that I had with this attorney, Renorta Pryor, multiple bar violations, and I probably should file one myself on her. But she was unprepared for my bond hearing. In the feds, you typically go for a bond hearing. It's not common to have to put property up in the feds. Typically, it's either you get out or you don't get out. And if you get out, you gotta do some work. Most people are working, doing some work for them, cooperating. Otherwise, for a crime like mine, you're going to be ordered detained. So you're until trial. Anyway, I was ordered detained. She lost that hearing. I'm thinking I'm screwed. Like, and I can tell this is my attorney, man. And I know I can't afford like a private one right now. I'm like, I'm screwed. I'm thinking I'm about to get this 8 but the first plea deal that they came to me with, if I pled to all 4 charges or the other 4 charges, that they would drop the 924C. So the effect of that is that instead of 8 years, instead of that mandatory minimum of 5 plus the 3 for the coke, I'm just getting charged off the 4, the unregistered firearm, the cocaine, the weed, and the maintaining a drug-involved premises. Okay. Typically, charges like that are ran concurrent, which means they run together. They don't add 30 months plus 36 months plus 30 months. Out of those four charges, the one that carried the most in the guidelines was the weapons charge, the unregistered firearm charge. It carried between 38 and 48 months guideline range, 36 and 46 months guideline. And I got the lower end of that. He gave me 38 months on it. Man, and I had a tough judge too, like William Osteen.
And you took it.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew, and at the state level, we would have fought a lot harder because, you never had this stuff in my possession. You found this stuff on other people, so there's a lot of things we can argue, and fight. But at they say when the feds get you, it's over.
Yeah, they got a 90% chance.
Yeah.
It was like 94% success rate.
Yeah. And so like when they come at me with what they came at me with, okay, you give me these 5 charges, and I'm looking at like 8 to 10 years. And then you come with the first plea, I'm taking the plea. They know I'm taking that plea. Man, I don't gotta man, people would pay a lot of money to like be in that situation, to not have to like tell on people and to not have to like, all this
Just
stuff.
sign here and
Yeah. So 38 months, that sucks for me, and everything. But I consider myself blessed. I could have got killed, man. Mind you, like I said, man, they knew these guys. I had on a swivel for them. And if they would have come up in that in my house and I'm conscious, I'm killing them, man. More than one of them. And I've got these weapons here. I've got all these drugs here. That's going to be felony murder. Felony murder is when you commit a murder in the commission of a felony. So that applies. That will apply in that situation. So that's 1st degree murder.
you're never getting up.
Right. So I say I'm blessed. Like, nobody's blessed to go to prison, but they could have went way worse. And like, I could have been killed. I could have killed them and went to prison for life. My fiance could have got shot. I lost my dogs in the process, who I loved like children, man. A lot of people were like, in prison, I was telling the con, like, a lot of people were like, man, you got to kill them. And I'm, yeah. But yeah, anyway, got the 38 months. I started off at a medium security prison called McDowell in West Virginia. Now, I was in prison during COVID, so it was very different. Like the movements were like dead. Like you're in your cell like all day. You might get to come out like an hour. Like you're in a county jail or worse. Sometimes you're locked in that cell for like, I'll tell you, a week, and they'll come escort you to the shower. Take your shower, take you right on back. My points ended up going down. My security level points.
Down is good or bad?
Down's good. If you want to get down to a low or a camp, if you got a brain, you want to go to a lower camp. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that got me down to a low. I had a detainer. A detainer is when you have state charges that have been lodged, basically, and it's called lodging a detainer. So the state agency like puts it in with the feds, and like with that, they put it in with the feds. And so the effect of it is when you finish your sentence, the arresting agency either comes to take custody of you or they let it run, or meaning like they just don't come pick you up. And once you get back to the state, then you got to handle the legal process by yourself there. They actually issued a warrant for my arrest for failure to appear
While you're in prison.
While I'm in prison, yeah, because I couldn't come to the court date, so they issued a bench warrant for failure to appear, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I acted like an idiot in prison. You know, I'm a law student, man. I'm a high performing law student. I'm a bit like I run businesses, like. But as soon as I got in that damn prison, in the jail, I was in there for like a few hours, and then I had a T-shirt on my head, like playing spades and laying on the table, like I lived there. So I mean, honestly, like it makes it easier for you to live in jail and prison.
What'd you learn in prison?
I learned how to sew. I learned how to. One of the hardest experiences I've ever had in my life, and I'll say this to this day, I did 6 months in solitary confinement. I did it, like I said, I was an idiot. Like I did a lot of time in the shoe for fighting, shots, disciplinary shots. Lost all my good time, which ended up keeping me into prison a total like 4 to 6 months longer. So 4 to 6 months of my life thrown away for being an idiot, you know, and just like for standing up for my respect and stuff like that, you know. But like one of the hardest things was surviving in the shoe. When you're in that cell for 24 hours a day, you don't even have a window. Like there's not even a window.
You don't know what time it is.
You know, nah, they'll have there'll be like a frosted over like little pane of glass, but you can't see out it. Like you'll know it's day just because of the light behind it.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah. You can't even see outside. You don't get the shower is in your cell. I'm telling you, the cell is about the space that we're sitting in right here. Like, so it's either you or you and another man.
It's like you in a dog kennel.
Yeah. Some people say that they treat animals. The Joe Exotic, the guy, you guys, yeah, he's done interviews talking about how the conditions that animals in the zoo have are significantly better than the conditions in federal prisons, and I do believe that.
So what happened once you got out of prison?
So get out of prison, and I really, you know, I'm thinking like I'm trying to do right, you know, like I want to do right, you know. I do have a tendency, like, mind you, though, I come from making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, you know, to coming out. I'd sold the landscape company that I had started before I went away. During the process of me being locked up in jail and multiple times before I went to the feds, my equipment had been stolen by some of the people I had let run the business. So I had these contracts, you know, that I like couldn't service. So I just like sold them, you know, to this other guy, and like I like merged with his business. When I got out of prison, I'm just assuming, man, like everybody's talking about, you know, oh, you're not gonna be able to find a job. I got a law degree, you know, I got like a lot of experience on my resume, but I had just like accepted defeat and like, yeah, this is gonna be life now. This is a life of toil and, you know, and struggling. So the first thing I did was call the guy that I sold my company to. I'm like, hey, like I'm out of prison. And he's like, oh, hey. And he's like, well, you want to come run a landscape crew? I'm like, I mean, I guess I have to have a job as a condition of my supervision. And so that's what I did. That was the first thing I did when I came out. About 5-6 months after being out, I start noticing a lot of weird things. I start noticing a lot of marked police cars, like, you know, being in places that, you know, like I'm out doing landscape jobs and they just happen to be, you know, just patrolling, you know. So I don't think anything of it. You know, I know I'm not doing anything, you know. So
Not worried.
I'm not worried. Yeah. But it just became like so pervasive, like to the point of like, you know, like, what's up, guys? Like, do you guys need to talk to me or anything? Like, you know. And one night I had to bring home a guy from the landscape crew, or he had to bring me home. And he brought me home, and later that night he called me. He said, "Ryan, what did you do?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "What did you do, man?" He's like, "You have had to have done something really bad." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Ever since I've dropped you off," and he went from from Davidson County to Mount Airy, which is like an hour drive. He said, "Ever since I dropped you off, I've been followed by," he said it started with Davidson County Sheriff Department, went to a state trooper. When he got into his jurisdiction, sheriff out there. And I'm like, man, I hadn't done nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you know, just little things like that. I start calling my friends, man, like, hey guys, like some weird stuff's been going on. And they're acting really weird. They're acting like really like, mom's like, I don't know, dude. Yeah, I don't know. Like, and then like another girl that supported me a lot all through prison, went to law school with her, great girl. I told her about this, and she got mad. Like, she's like, I don't know, like, I don't know, like, I'm sorry about that. I hope you get some answers, but and I hadn't talked to her since this day. Like, it makes no sense, you know, like to turn cold in that nature.
Because your nose is clean after.
Right, but imagine imagine if somebody's like saying this, right? Then they're just going to assume, oh, he's doing stuff again. You know, he's committing crimes again, you know? So I think that's what everybody probably thought. I don't know how much you want to.
Well, that leads us into more of like the police surveillance techniques that they use. So based on your experience of research, talking to other people in the prisons, I mean, we've talked to a lot of people at the CIA about technologies used and surveillance techniques. So can you talk about more of like what you've learned and what you know about surveillance and techniques?
I got a milk question.
Fuck the milk. No, don't answer that question. That's just gross.
Sure. So, yeah.
So about technology, first let's talk about what kind of technology law enforcement uses and what they have as far as like Stingray and all the other.
Yeah. So they use a lot of things, and we don't know about half of it. Let's just talk about what we do know about. A lot of these investigative techniques that they use, they're not the letter of the law. They can collect this data. They can do things to circumvent search warrants by purchasing private data. They can do all the way to infiltrating your phone illegally and like activating your camera,
Can you tell if they're in your phone or?
Sometimes you can, but like if it's like a zero-click exploit, like Pegasus or something similar. Pegasus is a zero-click exploit that was developed by NSO Group out of Israel, and it was discovered in 2017. It was likely developed before that. So here we are in 2026. So if they were able to remotely access your device and gain full control of it in 2017, imagine what they can do today. So the practice is called parallel construction. Parallel construction is when evidence has been obtained in a way that will not pass muster of a Fourth Amendment analysis in court. Okay,
meaning illegal.
Yeah,
illegally.
It's illegally obtained evidence. That's what it is. It's a violation of the Fourth Amendment. So it could not be used to convict. So what they'll do is they'll obtain it and then they'll launder it, just like money. They'll launder the evidence in a way that makes it look legitimate, whether it be a random traffic stop, you know, or you know, just happening to know somebody's going to be where they're going to be, you know, and maybe somebody noticed some suspicious activity to pull them over, and that's what they'll do. That's called parallel construction, and it's a very old police tactic. Now, a huge portion of federal cases are investigated like that. We don't know, you know, obviously we don't have no solid statistics, but yeah, parallel construction has been, police love it. Let's talk about IMSI catchers. IMSI is the unique identifier on your cellular device. So
every cell phone has a unique ISM,
yes.
IMSI, but it's also an EMI, no, ESM.
Yeah. What I'm talking about is called the IMSI catcher. That's your Stingray. There's other types of them. There's some called dirt boxes, which are mounted to planes, and they fly over wide areas and capture signals from like mass, you know, areas, right?
Of cell phones.
Yeah.
Stingray is usually in a van.
Stingray is usually in a van.
So can you talk about what Stingray is and how that gets used?
Yeah. So Stingray, it's basically a technology where your phone attaches to it as it would a normal cell tower, like a 4G tower. Sometimes if they do it right, you won't notice it, but a lot of the times you do. If you ever see your phone go from 5G to like 2G, or if you see it pop from like SOS mode with the satellite back onto the network and off and on, and there's not this nationwide outage, you might want to pay attention to that. That can be the process of your phone connecting to that IMSI catcher, thinking it's a tower instead of the tower. So once it's connected to that IMSI, some of the data that you send over the network, it depends on how much encryption you got going on. Some of it they can see, but they can definitely see some of the metadata, like what time, like what number you contacted, stuff like that. Sometimes they can see the content of messages, like if it's just like unencrypted SMS stuff like that. Yeah. So
it's basically a van that they have this thing called Stingray inside, and they'll just drive the van to like a protest, and they'll park it on the side of the street. And people walking in that protest, their cell phones, instead of connecting to the cell tower, connects to the Stingray tower, thinking that that's the tower. And that tower just soaks up all the information that you're sending on your phone, and then it transfers it over as a middleman to the actual cell tower. So it's filtered right there. And the feds or the cops, whoever has deployed that Stingray, they capture all the data of all those phones in that area.
It's like jumping on one of those spoof Wi-Fis that you think you're on Starbucks, but really you're on homie's Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And you're getting all the information pulled out of
it.
Yeah.
And so Stingray's isolated. It's like they have a target typically, or they're trying to like get one person, get the data from Dirtbox. Like, let's say it's a protest, like you just mentioned, this ICE protest, right? That's going on right now. They want to know who's at this ICE protest. Send the plane over, get every device. And then we'll decipher every device. That's everybody that was at that protest. And they got a record of that, So it gets powerful. But
we also talked about the other SWAT officers. Him and I were talking to a SWAT officer, and you and I discussed this during dinner, that, if someone commits a crime with their phone is tracked. They'll know exactly where you were, where you're going, and they'll sync it up with all the cameras of the ATMs, of the traffic lights, street lights.
And your car data.
And they'll know exactly where and what time those crimes get committed.
Right. And we're producing so much data, and like there's such a huge economy for data, and it keeps growing. And that's the importance of, like managing your digital, your digital footprint. It is important.
Can you reduce it?
Ryan, we talked about this.
Yeah, and
there is no privacy.
There's two competing sides. There's like the side of like, we don't have privacy anyway, so like, why do we even fight it? Why are we going to fight? And then there's the other side. It's like, well, our privacy is American principle. The founding fathers wrote that into the Constitution and our Bill of Rights. So like I was telling McCon, Americans, I feel like are going to fight tooth and nail for that privacy, even though it might be futile. I think it might be futile.
Because I was telling you, the only difference between is there was never any privacy to begin with. We just didn't know about it. Now we all know, and we're pissed off about not having privacy.
You used to be able to listen to phone calls on scanners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old analog phones.
Yeah. One of my phones one day, and mind you, this was all after I got out of prison. I'm not doing anything necessarily. It literally, the term I used, it got nuked. Literally, and I'm pretty sure that this was a zero-click attempt. But mind you, a zero-click exploit like Pegasus is extremely expensive to deploy.
Per phone.
Yeah. So it's not
governments use it.
Now, not to say a private individual can't get a hold of it if they like have.
But it's going to cost you.
Have the resources. Yeah. Typically, it's a nation state deploying that type of software. So
how much are we talking?
I can't put a number on that because that's not. I'm not privy to that.
So the two people got hit with Pegasus. One was Khashoggi in Turkey. He was a Saudi national that was in Turkey. The Saudi government used Pegasus to hack his phone and find out where he was, and he went to the Saudi consulate in Turkey and got chopped up. You guys heard about that a few years ago? Then the second one was, it happened to Bezos. Jeff Bezos got hacked with Pegasus. That's how they found out he was cheating on his girlfriend, on his wife at the time, and they released all that information. That's
how his ex-wife got $20 billion.
That's how that happened. It was from Pegasus.
Yeah. Damn. So was that a private individual who deployed that?
That I don't remember what it was, but it was private.
Yeah.
It was used in the private sector.
Right. Yeah. So there's something similar that the feds use. It's called network investigative technique. That is a warrant process. Now Pegasus is not pursuant to a legal process. Almost 98% of the time, you're not going to get a judge to sign off on you deploying a zero-click exploit. They call it a zero-click exploit because it's not traditional malware or spyware where you have to do something like interact. Like most infiltrations, they're like, they'll send a text message to you and you got to click a link, or they'll send an attachment to you and you download it. This is called zero click because it sends code through like a text message, so you don't have to interact with it. It deploys it like that
Automatically.
Yeah, a lot of tech people they believe that it's a backdoor that Apple actually has, like with the government, and I don't know, I can't speak on that.
What are the other? There was some centers that you said that collect data as well.
Yeah. So those are called fusion centers.
Yeah.
Fusion centers were instilled after 9/11. They are Department of Homeland Security managed, but they're state-ran facilities. What these centers do is they manage the flow of intelligence and law enforcement data in the country. The data comes from local law enforcement, sheriff departments, police departments. It comes from federal agents, and it comes from Clearview AI, which is a public or social media scraping company. It just scrapes like everybody's data, all your data. And the data that's being collected everywhere, like the street automatic license plate readers, Flock Safety, Waymo, Tesla, all this stuff. This is data that's being purchased up and bought. And these centers, they get a lot of it, right? They are able to disseminate the flow of it. And there's a mechanism called suspicious activity reports that oftentimes is it comes from the data that they collect there. So you end up on basically a list after you go through the FISA courts. FISA stands for Foreign Intelligence and Surveillance Act. Okay. That came.
So the fusion centers are a center where it collects all this information of scrape data plus law enforcement plus federal government, everything inside
government data and private data coming together and used.
And then who uses that? Who reviews
law
that?
enforcement, federal agents.
And based on that, did they create the suspicious activity reports?
That's often what does it. And these suspicious activity reports...
Isn't what? Like this person's been in this suspicious...
It's very tenuous. And there's not a standardized level that it has to reach. It doesn't reach probable cause. The amount needed for it doesn't even reach reasonable suspicion sometimes.
So it's basically like this person has been at this protest. And this protest caused violence. Therefore, that ID of this person plus all their social media posts, everything points them to be a suspicious person.
And let's say they've got calls to another person who's in a terrorist cell. Let's say they've been posting.
Oh, and it links people together also. It says this guy knows that guy and this guy.
Yeah, it links associations. It's
gotcha.
A pattern of life analysis is what they call that.
And then based on that, they, I guess, mark citizens.
Yeah. And that's how, and basically, and a lot of this is algorithmic. A lot of this is not even a human doing this. This is an algorithm pulling out troubling things, based on the data. And mind you, algorithms are not perfect. So a lot of individuals, they end up getting a suspicious activity report, and then it go into FISA, to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act court. That court is a court doesn't meet publicly. So when somebody files that suspicious activity report on you, you don't have an opportunity to contest that.
It just is what it is.
Yeah. There's a lot of constitutional concerns with that because when that...
Well, I was going to say, so what happens if you get on that list?
Yeah. So what happens when you get on that list, there's a lot of reports of what happens. There's something called the Targeted Violence and Terrorism Prevention Program. Basically, that is a function of this list. That's what you basically end up in. You are in the Targeted Violence and Terrorism Prevention Program.
Peachy.
Yeah. And the methods by which that program is serviced is...
That's the no-fly list and
there's
high
handling,
risk.
Yeah, so that's TSDB. That's the Terrorist Screening Database, and these work together. These are interrelated, and it's very complicated to explain this process. But
give us the retarded person version.
So Terrorist Screening Database.
We're both retards,
right? You got all right. So
teach us.
You got 4 handling codes in the TSDB. Handling codes 1 and 2. 1 is like apprehend them on site. 2, you got them. Not enough. They can't fly. 3 and 4. Is passive monitoring, right? And that passive monitoring, it shows itself in very strange ways that very widely, and targets have a very robust support group online. There's a nonprofit called Targeted Justice that basically is in a protracted legal battle to end this program, essentially.
Like 3 and 4?
Yes. The individuals who are in 3 and 4, because you're unable to contest your inclusion in those categories.
And you have no way of getting out of it if you just
it's
put in there.
it's indefinite. So these weird things that I began telling you about, the surveillance for no reason, no apparent reason,
Your friends being all weird.
Yeah. So that's the beginnings of it. And then it escalates. So you know a little bit about MK Ultra, right? You know some of the
well, for the audience that doesn't know MK Ultra, can we talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So MK Ultra was essentially came out as
you could Google it too. It's online. It's been declassified.
All of this stuff is factual and verified. There were Senate committee hearings on this. MK Ultra essentially is the United States mind control initiative.
It was a CIA program.
There is a CIA initiative. They're basically worried that Russia and other countries were going to get ahead of them in mind control. They're doing very strange things like unknowingly disseminating drugs,
They were giving like prostitutes LSD to give to Johns to see the effects of LSD. This was done in San Francisco in the 70s, I think.
Yes. And
John Kiriakou, who's a CIA officer who we had on the show, went into detail of MK Ultra and the other programs.
Yeah, the other program, COINTELPRO, that is an FBI program. COINTELPRO was in the 60s during the Civil Rights Movement. It was developed to infiltrate the Black Panther Party, the Civil Rights Movement, Martin Luther King, anti-war activists, things of that nature. And
how did they do that? What technique did they use?
The various techniques. There's not one technique. There's a lot of different techniques. They would do things to basically destabilize the target without killing them. They, killing the target is a whole lot harder, or it produces a lot of paper,
versus stressing them out.
Stressing them out, destabilizing them, and making them ineffective in what they're trying to.
Back up a couple steps. What did they do to your friends to get them so raw?
To this day, I won't know. There's reports that what happens is they come to your family and your friends. They say any number of things. It's well known that law enforcement can and does lie. They lie to get, and they can. There's no prohibition against law enforcement.
Most people don't know that, though. Most people think law enforcement have to tell you the truth.
They do not have to tell you.
It's illegal for you to lie to a law enforcement,
they can bait you.
but they can lie to you.
18 U.S.C. 1001. If you lie to a federal agent, that is a felony.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, they can lie they can lie on a suspicious activity report. There's less implications for that than if they rely on a search warrant, and they do that all the time, So, what I think they do is they approach your family, they approach your friends to get as much background to profile you as they can. Now, that is, in my belief, is the covert part of the program.
This is 3 and 4 of the 4-step.
These individuals, yeah. Mm-hmm. After that, it moves into an overt stage where they're no longer passively collecting your data or surveilling you. They're openly monitoring you. They want you to know we're watching, right? There's something called the observer effect. And it says that when you know that somebody is watching you, your behavior changes. And it does.
It's just like when you're on camera, you're more polite. You're not cussing as much. And then when you're off camera, you're cussing like a pirate.
Right. And so,
I mean, this,
but this is the playbook from this. It comes from COINTELPRO, MK Ultra, and something called Zersitsung. Zersitsung is a German word. It translates into deteriorate, basically. That was deployed by the Stasi, which is in East Germany, the police in East Germany. Political dissidents, targets, people that they needed out the way. They began deploying these strange techniques that had the effect of destabilizing them mentally.
Basically, if you make them crazy, then they can't be a credible witness to make any noise. So make them crazy and they're like, oh, this guy's a crazy person. Right. Ignore him.
And so it's designed to be almost impossible to prove. And if this has been going since 1960 and it's 2026 today, if it could have been, and there's been Senate committee hearings on this. This was decreed in the 70s. It's called the Church Committee hearings. You can look it up, like where they went through this exact thing that I'm telling you about, how it's illegal and horrible and awful, and we're going to have more oversight. That's when they instilled FISA, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. That was supposed to be the oversight. There is no. Then 9/11 happened. Then you got the Patriot Act. Then it revamped in a way that we've never seen before. Now here in 2026, AI, algorithms, everything's fueling it in a way that's on.
And now you work in AI, right? You're working
I
in
work in AI.
So like, obviously you're a very smart guy. You've got experience on surveillance being used on you, counter surveillance deployed by you, and you're working in the AI field right now. So you understand what's going on with the technology and how all this kind of plays together. What state are we in right now as far as when it comes to surveillance, counter surveillance, technology? Like, where are we at in 2026?
Your privacy's gone.
People are like, I have a 0 unplugged phone, 0 hedge phone. I've got this Signal app I'm using, Proto Mail. I'm using
VPN.
Butthole this, VPN that. I've got this.
Everybody, I get 10 to 20, I was telling McCon, I get 10 to 20 people reach out in my inbox every single day coming to me with situations like this. What I'm describing to you guys, come on, man. And it keeps growing. It keeps growing. I have a consulting business in helping individuals combat this and stabilize their lives, right? What I tell them is the counter surveillance that you are thinking of is not going to work for you. The amount of resources that is being levied upon you right now, you can't beat it. You can't. You're one person. This is the United States government is the most powerful entity in the history of humanity. You're not going to beat it.
What you have to do, ditch your computer, ditch your phone, and
Not necessarily. Now, I do keep I keep a graphene OS on a Google Pixel device. I keep it in a Faraday bag and all this.
I don't even think that means anything.
And
We've talked to like SEALs. Navy SEALs are like, bro, the technology the CIA gives them to play with and all the things they can do. I mean, the stuff we know now about the CIA is 30 years old.
Yeah.
well, I guess what's the benefit of your graphene?
Just personal peace of mind of like, maybe I can.
It's like a fuck you. I know, like, I can learn anything.
Here's
Like,
what it is. It's basically like, you know what? Instead of hacking my phone in 30 seconds, this one's going to take you 2 hours.
Yeah.
How about that?
This device right here.
It's going to take you 2 hours.
This is my above board device. Here you go. This is me. Have at it. You know, but the other one, that's me. I'm gonna have that. And if you want to get that, you're gonna have to fight real hard for it. You know, so that's all I can tell people.
But they're going to get it anyway.
Yeah, and they will if I use it enough.
Yeah.
But I don't like all you can do. Like anytime you connect to a network, anytime, like even with these hardened phones, anytime you connect to a network, you're making yourself vulnerable. You know, it's the apps. It's the apps that's the issue. You know, all the data and everything.
What's the issue with the apps?
And it's like the apps, like your weather app. Like you have no idea how much that Apple weather app makes in money just because it tracks where you're going all the time. And
I deleted it.
good for you.
That's why he's always wearing shorts when it's like raining outside. He has no idea what the weather's like. He comes to my house. I'm like, bro, you know it's going to be hot today, right? He's wearing sweats. It is? I'm like, bitch, you're not checking the fucking weather?
I just gotta keep a pair of shorts and a pair of sweats in the trunk. We'll be fine.
But yeah,
But I was telling you this. We were over dinner, and I was telling Ryan that I was going to invest in a micro lending company that was going to lend in Africa. And I was like, how are you guys going to assess risk when you're lending to borrowers in Africa? Because in Africa, there's no credit reporting system. Like in America, we have the FICO scores. We have, if your FICO score is 800, you're great. We'll lend you money. If it's 500, we're not going to give you lend you money. I'm like, how are you guys going to do that in Africa? They're like, well, easy. We have access to their cell phone data and we're pulling cell phone data. I'm like, what the hell is the cell phone data going to tell you about someone's credit score? He goes, well, we know that the phone from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. is at a certain location, which indicates that they're working. And then at 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., it's at home. So we know that they're at home, which means they go to work and then they go home. Now, if that individual went from work to a bar and drank till midnight, we would know that they have a reckless life. So they probably don't have their shit together. So we wouldn't lend them any money. But if it looks like they get up, go to school, go to work, go home, and repeat that every single day, it means they're predictable and we'll lend on it. I'm like, you can get all that data from cell phones. This is 10 years ago, by the way. 10 years ago, private company pulling all the data. And it's basically, that was available back then. I can only imagine what's available now.
Time to throw our phones away.
and now you've got
Cars, too.
facial recognition coming into it. And like you got the Waymo, you got the Tesla. Like think of all this. Like it's got the LiDAR on it. It's got these high definition cameras. It's picking up all these faces. You know that they're selling that data. You know, like we know this.
Even LAX. I know you landed at LAX, but as soon as you get dropped off at LAX, the facial recognition cameras know exactly who you are, where you're going, what everything is. They know everything.
And that's a function of these fusion centers too. Like but the purpose of it is to stop terrorism and like in the
I gotta say though, it is really nice walking up to my gate and like not having to pull out my passport and just scanning my face and the gate opening up and going right in. It is pretty cool. I do like that.
So that's where we're at as a society. That's where
what I do like. Look, if it's gonna be like no privacy, at least let's get some benefits out of it, right?
Yeah, and that's where we're at as a society. Like where we're voluntarily giving our freedom away. I mean, our privacy away. We're voluntarily giving our privacy away for convenience. And
it's getting more convenient.
And Makan's okay with that. And like
I am okay with it.
So
because you're not gonna win. You're just not gonna win. Just give up and deal with it.
I'm not gonna deal with
it.
I like this. I like to hear this because this is exactly what I was saying. Is that there's always going to be people who are going to be like that.
Yeah, but he's not going to win. I'm going to win. Because you know what? I know I know that there is no privacy. I'm not going to pretend like there's any privacy. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. If you think that's private, good luck with that. I just know there's no privacy. We never had privacy. We're never going to have privacy. Every single day it's getting less and less and less. But
still believes there's privacy.
I do enjoy my phone looking at my face and opening up on its own. I do enjoy going to the airport and having them scan.
I put the sticker to cover it.
Yeah, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. No one wants to see what porn you're watching.
I don't care about the
At least they can't see him while he's watching his porn.
We're not that important for them to want to hack our phones.
Algorithm looking at my eyeballs, feeding me whatever it wants.
Then you're going to get fucked up shit. Then you're going to get like weird retarded.
Lately, it's all titties.
No, so my algorithm is fantastic. My algorithm's great. I love
like titties and guns. I'm happy.
Oh my God. Yeah, but they're men with big tits. The algorithm doesn't know any different. I'm just saying, it's like, look, it's not as bad, man.
I'm with Ryan.
Be with Ryan, but it's like, no, what's going to change? It's just going to get worse and worse with AI.
And got a career criminal that's also an attorney. He can make a change.
You know, and like a lot of my viewers, man, a lot of my viewers who identify the individuals who are in handlings codes 3 and 4, the taxonomy that they refer to themselves as targeted individuals. If you all go and you Google that, you're going to find a plethora of some crazy stuff, some solid stuff. Okay. That's what they identify as. They've come together under this targeted justice nonprofit. It's a very well organized and well funded initiative to fight this. You know, this isn't just like a few people spouting conspiracy theories.
Look, Ryan, I'm not saying I want what China has with Skynet and the social credit system where if you like spit on the ground or throw a napkin on the ground, not in a trash can, you can't ride a train for 2 weeks. Or being able to fly because you cuss too much.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want that system. All I'm saying is,
but every inch we give away
that's
gets
where
us
we're
that
headed.
much closer.
That's where we're headed. Anyway.
That's
listen,
where we're headed.
I much rather.
He just said he doesn't.
Let me explain something.
Let me
explain something.
His
My point is this: I much rather have America, okay, rule the world with AI and facial recognition technology and all this than China doing it to us. Or India doing it to us, or Russia doing it to us.
It's not any better.
It's going to happen anyway. I'd rather be under U.S. control than any other country's control.
What's the fucking difference?
The worst is, what if the Chinese can control us?
They probably already do.
No, man. No. Then you be...
Where's your iPhone made?
Taiwan. Taiwan's not China yet.
But yeah, that's Makan's theory. He says, you know, if we're all heading to this in the end anyway, America needs to try to get
Ryan,
there
we've been... Look,
what's your
what
theory?
You know about privacy, what he knows about privacy and what I know versus what the actual government sees and hasn't been released yet. I mean, bro, they know you better than me. I was telling you this the other day. Go to ChatGPT, put in your birthday, your time and date, and where you were born. And that will spit out more about you than you ever thought was possible.
You try this?
Of course I tried it. Put in your birthday and the time and location.
Time I was born.
Ask your mom. Look at your birth certificate. And it'll tell you everything about you so good that you're reading it. You're like, how the fuck does this know so much about me?
Are you saying from an untrained GPT?
Yes.
Because
yes. Just from astrology.
Okay.
Just from astrology point. Okay,
That's astrology.
That's just
that's
astrology.
just-
We're not talking about all your social media scraped, all your text messages recorded.
You're starting to sound like a white girl right now
What are you talking about?
with the astrology part.
Bro, I'm telling you, do it.
Uh,
Put all your shit. It's your date of birth, the time, and this precise location where you were born. You put that information in there and you go, tell me about
My
me.
name?
You don't need your name. And it'll tell you like details about your life. You're like,
How
holy
spot on
fuck.
was yours?
It's damn spot on to the point that I'm like, you know what? There is no privacy. If ChatGPT knows
But that's
that much
astrology.
exactly. And then you add in all this scraping of the internet and the phone calls and text messages and the emails of everything that's been recorded. Because, you know, the NSA records every conversation worldwide, every email worldwide, every text message worldwide, and keeps it on a database that's searchable. And with Palantir, it's all, you know, with AI interface to be able to readily access all that information. Bro, there is zero privacy.
What's your opinion, Ryan?
I don't know if it's to that extent. Now,
Ryan,
I do know,
it is.
and I've seen any individual that they want, if they really want that person, then they can. Are they?
They're not going to get it. They have access to it.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. Our profiles are made
Now-
and set.
No, and that's what I'm trying to say.
They have a dossier
You know,
on everybody.
They can have a dossier on everybody.
Yeah.
That's not to say that they like have
You
like
have
a
to be
live stream
important
of
enough.
every person.
No, you have to be important enough.
Exactly.
Like, why the hell would
And
you look
so-
at a homeless person, for example? You don't care. But Elon Musk, I'm sure he's a big target. Everyone wants to know. You know what I mean? So you have to be worthwhile.
And we speculate on how individuals end up in this list, you know? And a lot of people have the feeling that, or they call it the weaponization of the government.
Well, I told you the FBI released it was about like the shooters, the mass shooters. Right now, this is the things that they look for. A white male under the age of 30, unemployed, is a high risk for the suspected shooters. And if you look at most of the suspected mass shooters, they all tend to be 30-year-old white male, unemployed. That's like the hallmark of what they look for. And also for the terrorist stuff, if it's cash, one-way ticket, if you buy an airline ticket, cash, and it's one way.
Buy an airline ticket and cash stuff?
Huge red
I don't
flag.
know, but you go to the,
Huge red
it's a huge red flag. There's these like things that like trigger huge red flags.
And so and that's what's going on. Like all this data that everybody produces, there is a program, there's algorithms
That'll
that are
pick it
they're
up.
in real time picking up these flags.
But Ryan, I'm sure there are people that don't know, they have no ill intentions, they'll because they
accidentally
don't
do
have
it.
a credit card. Yeah, they don't have a credit card. They go buy a one-way ticket because they want to go home, and they buy it cash, and they end up on a
and a watch list.
On a watch list.
And so that's why you've got all these innocent people who reach out to me I'm telling you every day, at least 10 people every day with these experiences that are just the same.
But on level 3 and 4, someone's coming up to them and saying something?
No, what's happening? It's like these strange ground level operations, right? These are subcontracted, and the ones at their ground level, they're paid through crypto, they're paid through gift cards, they're
Through weird fucking ways.
yeah, that untraceable things.
Yeah.
Because you can't if this comes out, man, the people are going to be the public's going to be outraged. This program is bloat. I can't explain to you. I can articulate to you how much money it costs to just tell one individual. A normal law enforcement tell is expensive. This ain't that. This is passive monitoring, and there's no identifiable purpose other than to destabilize the target and neutralize them. Is that efficient? I don't know. They apparently think it is, you know, and that's why it's going on.
How long did MK Ultra go for? Do you remember?
It was shut down formally with the church committee hearings. What happened was
MK Ultra was a bunch of things. They
there's a
released,
lot of
like,
different
viruses.
there's a lot of
Lo-fi.
right. And part of MK Ultra is these psychological tactics that I'm describing to you all that we're seeing here in 2026. That was part of it. Same thing with COINTELPRO. Same thing with Zeracid. It's a playbook that we're seeing repeat itself in history. That's what history does. It repeats itself. You know, a lot of innocent people are landing on it. And
What are these people saying? Like,
They're-
You know what it's
John,
similar to?
John Smith is reaching out saying
No.
they told.
No, it'll be stuff like and there's a lot of things they can do. They'll spread smear campaigns. They'll get in your community. They'll spread lies about you to hurt your social standing. They will hurt you professionally. They will these really, really nefarious
But see,
things.
what I was telling Ryan is that tactic works in a small city.
Right.
In LA, like
Nobody
It's
lives
not gonna
far.
work, bro. Like in LA, it's just really not gonna work. Like for example, you were saying that like in smaller cities, like like local police is gonna come creep up on you and just kind of like nod their head or like just mess with you that way. LAPD ain't doing that in LA.
Right.
There's just too many of them. They don't know where you are. It just so I don't know what tactics they would deploy in like major cities like
LA.
New York, LA,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Because and a lot of my viewers before I came out here, they're like, that's a hotbed, right? That's a hotbed for gang. The
But you've been in LA for a few days. Do you
Yeah.
think it's possible here?
absolutely possible.
But would it be effective to the
It
individual?
depends on the individual. It depends, and how much money they want to spend, how connected that person is, and mind you, there's also the theory that a lot of this is just experimental data collection to be used overseas in wartime situations.
Well, there's some other technologies that we talked about in wartime that's going on right now.
Yeah. These technologies, they're more fringe. Now, mind you,
Now we're getting into like the
yeah.
hocus pocus stuff.
So
But this is really cool
so
stuff.
This is there's a lot of support for it out here. I haven't experienced this. I haven't experienced these technologies. So
We've heard it from different sources
Yeah.
also. So it's like
So one of them, what they call it V2K, which stands for voice to skull. It's a technology that's supposed to be able to beam a sound into one individual's head in a room, but not to you. So the effect of that is you hearing something, and the person beside you not. If you thinking that's hearing voices. You see the significance of that?
Mhm.
If you go to a psychiatrist, be like, hey,
They're gonna give you drugs.
and you also explain, hey, I'm being followed, that presents as paranoid schizophrenia. They are going to give you antipsychotics. You then have a medical record of being mentally ill. Okay. You're more susceptible to, and that can initiate an involuntary commitment process, depending on how, how you present to the psychiatrist. There's a lot of people who feel they're complicit in this, in this whole operation. But if you get an involuntary commitment on your record, and this comes to court one day, a lot of people feel like all the victims are going to get their day in court and they're going to be entitled to significant compensation because of the amount of distress this has caused so many people.
But imagine a private enterprise. We were talking about this. Imagine a private enterprise creating a
Revenge for hire
program where billionaires are like, you know what? My ex-wife, slept with a tennis instructor. I'm going to make his life miserable. I'm going to hire this company, go to his house, move his remote control over, or beam a voice to his head and make him like mentally crazy and just like basically ruin the guy's life without really getting in trouble because you can't prove it.
You never touched it. They can't prove it.
You never touched it. You can't prove it.
How do we know people aren't doing this already?
We don't.
That's what we're talking about.
That's what we're...
This right here is what's going on all over the country. All over the country.
How do you hire someone like this?
This guy.
Exactly. You got to be.
I'm just curious. What the fuck?
I told you.
You piss off Jeff Bezos.
you're
This is happening to you. And man, when this happens to you, it makes you feel so hopeless and isolated because it sounds crazy.
Because imagine Jeff
It
Bezos
sounds-
does this to you, and then he can like remotely log into all the cameras and like watch you suffer and just
Right.
laugh.
And
be
there's
like,
that
"Look at this
theory
fool."
that there's this theory that it's
Not
been
that Jeff Bezos would do this. This was just an example.
absolutely not.
We love Jeff Bezos. We love Amazon
And Elon Musk.
and Elon Musk
And Donald Trump.
and everybody.
For the record, you don't even have an Amazon account.
I do have an Amazon account. If you look at my credit card statements, you'll see multiple Amazon purchases.
But
Bullshit.
yeah, so these people, they reach out to me and they're just like, they're confused, they're scared, they think they're about to be killed.
But there was other things though. It was the Havana syndrome.
Havana syndrome. Okay, so Havana syndrome.
These are all the different technologies the military has.
It's called Havana syndrome because the U.S. diplomats, when they were in Cuba, what the Cubans were doing, they were using these microwave weapons. They're weapons. And what they do is they're directing this specific type of microwave on the diplomats 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it results in these very strange, symptoms that are unexplainable otherwise. And it became studied enough, and that's what the doctors and scientists were able to identify. It's the result of these microwaves being used on these people 24/7. What individuals are saying now in 2026 is that the same thing is being done to them. So it's no-touch torture is what they call it. Okay, so if this technology existed way back then,
It's only gotten better.
yeah, and so
I was going to ask, you're in the AI space. I want to like talk about AI because a lot of people are like scared about what AI is going to do with like taking away people's jobs and where it's headed. What do you see in the AI space? What jobs are going to be gone? What jobs are going to be created? Can you predict anything based on what you see on the back end?
I can't. I mean, manual labor stuff will eventually go away. There's some like
Manual labor, like what? You're talking about
I'm talking
digging
about
trenches?
like washing dishes, digging trenches.
All because of
Yeah.
robots doing those.
Yeah, and more fine motor control movements and things like that. You know, the things like fingers that requires more data and stuff. But that's what we're doing right now. I can say that. I can say that we're developing robots right now that will.
How long until robots actually wash dishes? Like, how many years are we away from that?
We're about 7 years from that. Yeah.
Is that in Elon Musk 7 years, like his predictions, or is it like realistically like 7 years? Because Elon says we're gonna have
say 10 at
FSD.
I'd say 10 at the far end. You'll have I say 10 years. Majority of people like are gonna have a robot like to help with their, you know, like they have a car. You know.
But what about AI with like attorneys losing their, or doctors or
Yeah.
accountants?
I
You know,
don't
you
know.
heard about that. Graphic designers, videographers,
Yeah.
editors.
I know that's they're on the chopping block. Attorneys, I don't know. Right now where we're at, so I do federal post-conviction work. That's the bulk of my consulting work is federal post-conviction work.
What does that mean, federal?
Federal post-conviction is anything after they've been convicted and they start serving their sentence, whether it be anything that gets them back into court. Is it going to be a motion to vacate or set aside based on a constitutional violation like ineffective assistance of counsel? Is it a compassionate release request where, you know, there's exceptional circumstances like an illness or somebody's lost a parent, a child, something like that. Then there's a 2241 habeas petition, which is basically challenges an incorrect classification or, you know, First Step Act credits being calculated wrong and, you know, it not being applied properly to their sentence and them not getting home confinement fast enough, clemencies, pardons, that's post-conviction, all that stuff. So that's the type of work I do. They're complicated filings. They're very
So
complicated.
do you think AI could take over that?
Eventually, I think, but you're always going to have, like in law, especially, you know, it's a very archaic and like, you know, traditional like practice, you know, and I think what we're seeing now is we're seeing more AI in law. And one of the programs we use, I mean, we use a AI program, but we have to do a significant amount of work also. It also shortens the amount of time that it takes. Like if it would take three or 4 days for, you know, to do it manually and with, you know, manual research, the AI can do it in about 5. Yeah.
5 hours?
5 hours. Yeah.
Versus 3 days?
Yeah.
So Ryan, if you're thinking in 7 to 10 years, robots are going to take away manual labor, how many years do you think AI is going to take over?
I don't know,
Like
man.
attorneys-
And it's like, I think the courts are always going to be
Well, forget the courts then. Accountants, accounting, architects, engineers, doctors, paralegals,
paralegal would be out quickly.
computer programmers.
Computer program. I mean, they're struggling now. I mean, like there's people I'm talking to people on the way here and they're just talking about, or who was a software engineer. And he was just saying how he was out of work for like 18 months, just because AI is doing so much of this. And like now the people who are the most successful are the ones who are figuring out how to use AI.
Yeah. So and here's the thing. The theory right now is you have 5 years to make as much money as you possibly can before you're frozen in time for the rest of your life financially. That's what I've heard. That you can use AI right now to make a ton of money and you better do it quick because in 5 years, no one's going to be able to make any kind of money anymore because of robots and AI taking over all the jobs. And wherever you are financially in 5 years, that's where you're going to stay for the rest of your life.
I can't argue with that. I really can't. And that's why, and I was telling you this too, and you were arguing with me about this, is that's the importance of everybody get on social media, like get you in it, like be an influencer. Everybody's got something they can sell.
But AI can do that
and
too.
And you said that too, and that's what I mean. You know, I still very firmly believe there's no substitute for a human.
Right.
Yeah.
There is nothing special about us humans. We're incredibly predictable. We're so easy to manipulate and replicate.
Yeah.
AI can smoke us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I've learned from all the CIA guys. They're like, humans are they're the most basic, simple, easy things to manipulate and like replicate. So there's like nothing special about us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I live life. Like,
So,
there's
like-
no privacy. We're nothing special.
Yeah.
We're not important.
Right. And I mean, and you're living great. So, but so would you guys rather watch an AI influencer than a human?
If you don't know the difference, what difference would it make?
That's true.
And if the
If
AI
I know
knows,
the difference, I want a human.
no, obviously,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the point is you won't know the difference. And the point of that is it's going to be so good at finding the most viral things, the things that just because it has access to data and it's precise and it can do exactly what you want to see.
But would you want to watch AI porn or regular porn?
AI porn all day long. You wouldn't?
I don't want to.
You don't want to see a chick with four tits? Like, why stop at 4?
I think that might be
40.
the tell. That might be the tell that
Like
it might
40
be.
tits?
It might
boy.
be AI.
No, but my point is AI is going to give you exactly what you want. And then it's going to get to a point where that's just not going to be satiating anymore. And then you need something more refined. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. I just think AI is going to just dominate everything.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, if you're a kid right now graduating high school, thinking about going to college,
Don't.
I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know what the world's going to be like when you graduate and you get out of college. I don't know what kind of world we're going to be in 5 years.
Yeah, I agree.
With as fast as technology is advancing. I mean, just look in the last 2 years, how the world's changed with ChatGPT and how many new industries have popped up and how many industries have just been decimated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people don't use their brains anymore?
Well, they didn't eat at all, but now it's like nobody's using their brains.
Yeah, and we saw that in my space, in the post conviction space, and prison talk,
Yeah.
prison TikTok. We're seeing prison consultants. Prison consulting is it's an industry that is unregulated, unlike the practice of law. Practice of law is a self-governing position or profession. We have a bar association. We have strict standards and morals and ethics, all that. Prison consultants, you don't even have to be. You don't even have to have a law degree. A lot of these people are jailhouse lawyers. Who figured out how to write motions,
I feel like some of those jailhouse lawyers are better than some real lawyers.
and they are. Some of them are. We are. Even though I work with.
Well, Ryan's smart.
But my partners are lawyers. They've been doing this for as long as I've been alive, and I wouldn't be here without. And I wouldn't be in this position without them. And I wouldn't be as successful as I am right now without them. But what I'm seeing is other people who are not as competent as us using AI, ChatGPT, not what we got, and they're selling these products to inmates in federal prison, for substantial amounts of money. I'm talking anywhere from $2,500 to up to like $30,000 or more.
Oh, shit.
These are non-attorneys. These are non-attorneys, and the thing that we as prison consultants we can do. We don't have to be admitted in each jurisdiction. And federally, you got to be admitted in each federal district, not just North Carolina, but Middle District, Western District.
So you're just giving it to these people as pro
se.
Pro se.
Pro se, yeah. I mean, so they file it themselves. It's a pro se motion. Many of them are doing their time. Currently, they just have access to advice, and they got people in the feds got money, big money, and so they can pay this. So without me having to be admitted in each jurisdiction, like I will have to be when I'm practicing as a lawyer. That allows me to take cases out of any jurisdiction in the country, So it's cool because, I'm able to, otherwise I'd be very, very limited. So I can make more than an attorney, doing this. But you've got these other consultants who I'm not going to say their names because they're nationally known. But they are doing these motions that are deficient. They're deficient. I'm getting multiple of them. Like people come to me for review after they paid, $4,000. I'm like, man, you can't file this. You can't file this or you'll lose. It's not even some of it would be time barred. Like it's just unethical. The cases will be hallucinated. Hallucinated meaning like the AI like picked out a case that like either didn't exist or has the wrong holding or something like that. Attorneys are getting like reprimanded heavily for that right now, but yeah,
that's a big thing in law. Most people think they can just have AI write their brief or their motion,
right.
And it just picks up a case and makes it up and says because it wants to please you.
And it's not that simple. Like I mean, in federal court, you got each judge has their own. Each district has its own rules. Each judge has its own rules. Has their own rules, and so the AI ChatGPT it can't do that. It's just not there yet.
Well, not yet.
Yeah.
Well, in 5 years.
5 years maybe.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So then you might be able to get one of these products that we're selling for like $5,000 for for your $40 a month ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So but I'll be rich by 5 years. So so,
Everyone,
so then I'll have to sit
everyone
on
needs to
down.
hustle for the next 5 years because that's all we got left.
Right.
I think by 2030, it's just going to be locked in. Like, this is how much money you're worth. That's it.
Yeah. Circling back to like the whole operation thing, I do think it's troubling how any individual in our country, like if somebody decides that one, they can systematically pick apart, maybe not someone like McCon.
No, this guy.
Yeah.
Don't put it on me. Brian.
Systematically pick apart their life. And it's nefarious. And like the people who come to me, it's sad because what I tell them from the jump, I cannot get this to stop for you. I cannot get it to stop. Like, so what, if you want to pay me to talk, then okay. But all I can tell you is what is happening in your situation. I can tell you what we know historically.
Run the scenario by Brian and see what he would do.
Everywhere you go, let's say you get up, you go to the store, you go to the gas station on the way to work, and you're going to the door, right? You're going to go open the door. Right as you get to the door, somebody like reaches it right at the same time. They're like, "Oh, sorry, excuse me," and you're like, "Okay." And you go in, turn the aisle, someone walks out in front of you, like right in front of you, right? And you're like, "Oh, excuse me," and then you walk out, and let's say later in the day, you go to another store, right? And you just feel like people are just like sitting in their car, or you go to a restaurant and you notice like some other people and they're just done eating and they're just like, or let's say something personal has happened to you. Let's say like something like me, like where your dogs have been shot. Let's say you're in a Walmart, right? This is actually something that happened to me. I walk up to the register to check out. These 3 people walk behind me. Man, what's wrong? Looks like your dogs got shot. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you supposed to do? Lash out? Or are you supposed to confront them?
Oh.
Now, this happens extrapolate it.
Yeah.
The stuff being moved in your home, like you go into your house, your remote control is in the refrigerator. Your pillow on your bed is in the bathroom. Strange things like that. And you've got all these things going on and when you get on the road to drive, you've got people trying to initiate accidents and things like that, boxing you in, running you off the road, bright lighting you, like all these little cumulative things that in isolation don't mean much, but collectively every single day.
It's enough to fucking burn you.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Brian? So what do you do? How do you combat it?
How would I combat it?
And they're also getting into your professional circle. They're spreading malicious things in your professional circle. This is beginning to affect you.
That's he's already experienced that.
Right.
Well, he's gone through divorce. So
Same
what
principle.
you just described as a divorce.
Yeah.
It's not really fucking,
Yeah. That's not really.
Not
that's
that
not a
bad.
phase 3, phase 4.
Level 3, level 4, not that bad, bro.
It's pretty easy for
that's
him.
fine.
Yeah, he's been through worse.
Level 3, level 4. I'm going to hire a PI to fucking counter surveil what the hell's going on.
Right. So you got to have at least the resources to counter surveil.
That's going to cost you 15, 20 grand.
At least, right?
Bare minimum. And that's for
Now-
like a week.
And hopefully not the same
Some of my
PI
people-
that you used last time.
Some of my people come to me and they have already done this. They've hired private investigators. They're like, man, they saw stuff. Like there's this Playboy model, Sarah Roberts, maybe like my Playboy model DJ, like big on social media. She's very educated, like got intelligence like connections too. And she had hired a private investigator, and she's like, basically, he's like, yeah, I see this, but I can't even connect. I can't even collect enough evidence for you to bring a civil claim. Like, who are
Because
you?
they're too good. Because
It's
it's
too-
not.
This is
It's not
It's
a
not a
fellow,
crime.
It's not another private investigator. It's someone who's paid to torment you, essentially.
yeah, essentially, yeah. And
It's the easiest way to
and it
explain it.
starts way up at the top of DHS and CIA and FBI.
Or it could even be a private entity that just wants to fuck with you.
And this is, and I sent
That's what we talked about.
So I sent you guys. So there's an affidavit by FBI agent Ted Gunderson. Ted Gunderson was a senior official in the FBI for at least 30 years. Okay, he's well known, renowned. Okay, like more than John, like John Carrico.
Curiosity.
Yeah. And so,
What up, John?
what
We
up?
love you.
John, what's up? But yeah, so he basically somebody filed they're handling code 3.4, the situation I'm describing, basically hired him out. They have a lot of money. Basically everything I'm telling you he lays it out in that affidavit. Like, he's like, I have reason to believe after my investigation that there is a practice that they refer to as multi-perpetrator harassment, i.e. gang stalking. I don't like using the word gang stalking. I tell my people don't use it because it's synonymous with conspiracy mess, you know? So like, I try to stay far afield out of the conspiracy stuff. If I tell my people, if you want credibility, don't start blabbing about targeted energy. Don't start screaming about directed energy weapon. Stop talking about gang stalking. Call it what it is. Call it civil conspiracy. Call it multi-perpetrator monitoring harassment. You know, stay grounded. Don't make these baseless claims that you can't believe, you know? File your Privacy Act request. When they deny your Privacy Act request, then we have a paper trail that they, you know, that they denied that you were in this program. So when you get your day in court, if you do get your day in court, you know, you have some redress.
50-50.
Yeah. So, but then, so, right. Man, I'm owed some money, man. Y'all even heard that. Y'all even heard yeah. But, and I told McCon, I'm like, a lot of people, they want me to talk on this more. They want me to talk more on the targeted individual part because it's wild. It's just wild. The stuff that they've done.
And you're experiencing 10 plus people a day that you actually
try
see.
60. Try 60.
Because I don't think you answer every DM you see.
No. Like, you're talking about the people who like, yeah, at least that many. And I try, like, and some of them, and I can also filter, are they presenting with a mental health condition? Some of them are, you know, some of them are. And a lot of them aren't. I'd say the vast majority of them are.
80-20?
More than that. Maybe 90-10. You know, some of them are whack jobs. Yeah. But it makes me wonder, man, like, did this cause them, push them into that?
Highly probable.
So, I mean,
because most people aren't built for that.
Right. They're not.
Like, how long were you fucked with afterwards after you got out?
So this went on for a period of about 2 years. And so total about 2 years and about 6 months. When the Trump administration came in, I noticed that in addition to, like, I was getting smart to their tactics, I had learned all this stuff, you know. So I have a grasp on what's going on around me. That knowledge is clarity, and that's power in that situation.
But you're also an exception.
Yeah.
The average person, 2.5 years, it's going to break them.
Yeah. And that's why so many people reach out to me is online. There's some very viral.
Also, keep in mind, he just got out of prison. Surviving prison is also going to mentally strengthen you, toughen you up.
I was in the special housing with no, like, I was reading the Bible, all I had for 6 months.
They don't give you books?
They give you 2 books a week, and I go through that in 2 days. Like, so I'm sitting in there with a Bible for the rest of the week. And I mean, I'm trying to not go crazy. Like, that will push people, like, you know, I'm working.
You 6 months?
Yeah, 6 months total. Yeah. So,
saw daylight a couple times.
I came 3 months the first time. I was out for like 3 days, got into some more bullshit. Yep. Back in there. And so, and if you try, it's called the disciplinary.
What'd you have to do to end up back in the shoe?
Fighting both times.
Does the other guy end up in there too?
Yeah. Everybody ends up, but like, I don't know what happened to him. But he got moved. Typically you'll get moved. Like, I thought my security level was going up, but it got so close to the door that shit, I was only on the compound for a total of like 2 weeks. Like, I'd lost all my weight, man. I was probably like 198 pounds. Like,
in the shoe?
Yeah. After coming out of the shoe, they're supposed to feed you by law 2,000 calories a day. You don't get that much. You get about 1,800 calories a day.
And you're a big boy. Yeah.
And so, I'm working out every day in there, just like to keep my head right. That, and then, like I said, reading that Bible, like, because I mean, they have to by law give you the book of your one book of your faith.
You could just say, I changed my faith and just keep getting the books.
Actually, that's funny. I actually did read the Quran and stuff.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Damn, so you read the Bible, the Quran? What about the Torah?
Yeah.
Did you read the Torah as well?
No, I would have though. If I had more time in there, but I converted, you know. But yeah. So coming out, you got to consider my resources are drained. I can't fight back like that. I can't hire a private investigator. So for the long, and they know me enough, and like, they see my like record enough. They know that I'm like, if somebody touches me, man, I'm rocking off. Like, let's go. Like,
so they're not going to touch you. They're just going to try and fuck with you in other ways.
They'll try to get you to touch them, and they do some crazy things to try to incentivize
to get you to rattle the cage,
to incite that.
Oh, that's easy with this guy.
Yeah, man. So
he's half Indian. You know, Indians got terrible tempers.
Switch just flips,
bro. Yeah. It goes from 0 to 100. I'm like, what the? Nothing happened. Why are you at 100?
She started.
And so they'll do things like, so there's a concept called projection, right? Where like, let's say you're like out in public, right? And like, you just walk past some dude and he's just like mugging you, like, you know, like,
yes,
like that's called projecting, you know, projecting like negativity and like, and so.
And also sort of like assault if you think he's going to hit you?
Well, it's just short of it. Like, imagine walking past somebody as you're walking into a place and they like turn around and like, fuck, yeah, or,
like
yeah, like fuck you, you know, type shit, and like, you know, that type of thing. And all of this is going on at the same time. You get on the road and it's happening. You go into a store, it's happening. You come home, your stuff's been moved. You get in your car, something's been broke. Your vent's been broke. Like McCon was saying, like my car, and it would happen in a little like. So one time I come out of my car, right, look at my floor mat, right, the edge of it has like a cut like this, and I'm just thinking. Wear and tear, you know, wear and tear. So I go on, next day come out, the rip is from here to here. It's that long. I see it again, I'm like, dang, that must have ripped a lot more yesterday while I was in the car.
See, like what I would do is put a note, please stop ripping my shit. And like leave a note for them. You know what I mean? So when they get in there, they're like, this motherfucker.
They know you, but like they know you know, like they're laughing.
No, I know, but like you're playing their game now. Like leave them a donut and a small cup of milk and write a note. Please take this donut and not cut any more of this.
They would put. So I told you about the concept of confirmation
or a kiss. Here's a kiss. Looks like you need a kiss and a hug.
Right.
Please don't rip my car anymore.
You know, if your life isn't falling apart, you might want to. You know, that might be a cool thing to do. But like, you're not thinking like that at the time.
No, but you should. I think.
I know. I mean,
because if you do
it could be it could be effective.
It's very counter effective, I think.
But at the time, I'm still trying to figure it out. I didn't have full understanding of it yet. You know.
You're like, am I crazy? Am I
exactly.
not crazy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I also told him.
Well, it's, like I said, we know the end story. That's why we're able to like counter it. But if you're living in it, it's not easy.
It's hard. And that's what I try to help people with. It's like, you know, I can tell them what they can do, what's futile and what's not futile, what's a waste of money. Like what a lot of people do is they'll move across the country, they'll move abroad, you know, but it follows them there too. And they just spent thousands and thousands of dollars when they're already financially distressed from the operation.
Mm-hmm.
It's intended to strain your resources. It's intended to hurt you professionally, make it so that you can't remain employed. It's supposed to make you so you lash out, institutionalize yourself, either through the mental health process or you commit a crime. You lash out at one of them. There's a lot of people, look at the mass shooters. How many of them have said that they heard voices in their head? How many, you know, how many? And there's a theory that this has pushed some mass shootings. Why? I don't know. Gun control? I don't know. But there's that theory, you know. It is nefarious and it's sad, like how innocent people end up in it. But something that a lot of my people might not want to hear is that I think there's a place for it, and I think that in some situations it is effective. Is it a form of behavior modification? Yeah. Like McCon said last night when we were at dinner, he's like, did it change you? I said, yeah, it did change me. I had to change to survive it. And I came out of it better than before. I'm a better and more effective person now. I might have went on to commit a crime that could have got me locked up again. I wouldn't be on the path that I'm on now if it wasn't for that program. If it was not for that
they didn't tow you with you for the 2.5 years. Yeah. Because it forced you to stay straight.
It forced me to. And online, and I think that so many people come to me, and like I said, there's other viral accounts that this is happening to them. The biggest one I think is called Stalked by the Feds.
Did you hear that? He said there are other viral accounts.
But there's other viral.
That means our account is viral too, Brian.
Oh, buddy.
There we go, bro. We made it.
There's other viral accounts, you know, where all they do is, they're just showing themselves getting gangs. They're literally.
I've actually seen some of these pop up on my feed.
And yeah, and then you go to the comment section, and I was telling McCon, you got all these bots saying somebody didn't take their meds,
today.
you know, like,
Yeah.
and that there's literally people who are paid to monitor these people's
There's
accounts.
some chick all over that.
That's her. That's Lisa from Stalked by the Feds. I see her getting beat. She's getting beat down. She's losing. You're losing, Lisa. Stop doing what you're doing. Like, she's being beat down, begging for money from everybody, like online, you know, from her, and she's making fine money from all the people who are sad, feel bad for her. But I even reached out to her one time. I'm like, hey, Lisa, like, I can help you. Like, I mean, and she blocked my personal thing, like, immediately. Like, and I don't know if it's because some people think she's fake. They think that she is an insert. They think that she's a plant. They think that she's exploiting the situation for money, financial gain. I don't know. I really don't know who would do that. You know, I mean, a lot of people think I'm a plant. They think I'm a perpetrator. They think I'm like FBI. They think I'm CIA.
Are you?
No, I promise. Yeah. And
Your legs were crossed. I'm kidding.
but yeah, they won't, because they want me to talk about this more, and it's like, it doesn't serve me any to talk about this anymore. I can't beat it. I can't stop it. If there's ever Senate committee hearings, like the church committee hearings, I'll go. Yeah, at that point, I would go. But
Until then, focus on what you can control.
Exactly.
Which
We're
is
at
nothing.
we're at a stalemate.
Fuck off.
You can't control it.
We're at a stalemate.
We can control a little bit.
What?
Like,
I don't know, Ryan. What can we control?
Nothing.
you can try to limit your digital footprint. You can try to
Why?
limit what you share.
You've already
Right.
shared. There's like,
You
okay,
have.
you stop today. If you stop today, bitch, you're 40 years old. Like, you've been sharing shit for 40 years.
Yeah.
Like, what's gonna stop?
I do think that's
Someone's gonna share other shit about you.
They won't have new nudes.
I do think that's a dangerous mentality, though.
What is?
I do. What
His?
Yeah, I think it is dangerous.
Why?
I do. I think that apathy about, you know, we have a right to privacy.
Ryan, let's say this.
We're going to take it out of the
No,
Constitution?
let's say that. No, we're not going to take it out of the Constitution. All I'm saying is, let's say we all, as Americans, all stop sharing information and
Yeah.
completely cut it off.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have like 100% privacy.
Yeah.
China comes in and fucking takes it
takes
all in.
all of our
Takes all of our data. We don't have share. Just like, let me give you this perfect example, like we do in California. We have emission controls in California. We pay way more money for gas here because we have a special blend that burns cleaner to prevent smog.
Mhm.
You know what happens with air? It moves. The dirty air of China comes over here and our clean air goes over there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, why are we spending 50 cents more per gallon in California for
50.
clean?
We're spending fucking like
No, that's just
$3.
for our cleaning blend.
Oh.
We're paying $1.65 per gallon. California spends $1.65 per gallon more than the rest of the country on gas. 50 cents of that is just for a special cleaning blend to have less smog.
Yeah.
Okay? When China and India don't give a rat's ass about smog and they're just polluting the shit out of the environment, it doesn't matter. California's not going to make a dent in it. We're just all getting fucked.
Could.
I mean, you gotta do it. Same thing with privacy. Like, we could like fight all we want, and then China or Russia are gonna come take all that privacy, and then it's gone anyway.
I know Ryan's not.
Oh, don't give up. I'm just gonna live life knowing that, you know, that's one less thing I'm gonna worry about.
Yeah, I will say,
And then smile from ear to ear when I go to the airport, and they just scan my face, and those boarding passes, the boarding gates open up, and I don't have to pull out a passport out of my pocket.
You're talking about when we leave, when we come back to customs.
Both of them. They're both great. Leaving and coming back.
This bitch.
this is gonna be this literal conversation right here. It's like, it's a huge debate right now. I mean, a lot of academics, a lot of like legal professionals, like regulators, lawmakers. Like,
Since you're on the legal side, is there major debates you're seeing between fellow lawyers?
I mean, not necessarily like in real time or personally, but you're always gonna. I mean, we want our Fourth Amendment.
I agree
Our
with you guys.
cases hinge on
Guys,
that.
I agree with you guys. We all deserve privacy. It's our right to have
Yeah, but
privacy.
you're willingly giving it away.
I'm not. There's nothing we can do. What am I going to do? Stop living my life? No, I don't want to live.
TSA has a sign that says, "Hey, don't record me."
Yeah, I'm not that one asshole. There's 1,000 people going this way. This guy's like, I don't want to take my picture. I'm going to get pat down. It's like, bitch, they got your picture as soon as you got out of the car. You know what I mean? They have 1 million cameras that got your picture. You're worried about this one picture?
Yeah.
Like, they got it from 1 million other sources. Like, what are you doing? It's like wearing a fucking paper mask during COVID. Oh, it's going to protect me.
Well, it's like all
It's
the
not gonna
people that
protect
got
you.
the jab during COVID.
Yeah. Like, that's going to protect you.
I didn't get it.
I got it because I had to travel out of the country. I wanted to go to Japan, eat food in Japan. And they wouldn't let me in the Japan without the jab.
This bitch.
You know?
I want more Wagyu though.
See? I got Wagyu in Japan.
Yeah, but
during COVID.
I didn't get the job.
Hey, it was worth it, man. The fucking A5 Wagyu for like $2 an ounce versus $100 an ounce in the US was worth every fucking job. Anyway, I digress.
So I don't know if you ever said it. Like, what would you do?
Exactly.
What would you do?
Yeah, let's hear your grand master plan.
I said I'd hire a PI.
No. Oh, you're
let's
talking
say
about that.
let's say that you are
regular person?
one of the individuals who doesn't have the funds or resources to hire a PI.
Donut in a note.
Sorry for him. You know, like hate it for you.
Look, you can afford Ring cameras. You can afford other types of cameras.
But they can jam those.
I'm sure they
The
can.
jammers are like 60
They
bucks.
hack them. They hack them.
Yeah, that's easy.
Or
That's
hardwire.
worse. Then you're gonna get access to you when you come and go. So then they're really gonna fuck with you.
Or
Take that shit
hardwire the
off.
cameras.
I got one of these one of those little BS Amazon cameras is that, you know,
Yeah.
they hacked that. And every time I'd come in,
They would know.
they the light on it, they like
Just to fuck
strobe
with you.
it. Yeah.
Last thing I would do is put a camera.
And I couldn't access it myself.
But you can put it on the exterior of the house.
I wouldn't put anything.
Yeah.
They can access all that. I started leaving notes for them, love notes.
So like the only thing that people are told right now is document what you see, document plate numbers and stuff. But like you're documenting you're 60 cars in a day for nothing that you can.
And some of them could be anomalies anyway.
And many of them are anomalies. You're gonna confirmation bias is that psychological concept.
Yeah, when you look for a red car, you see red cars all day long.
Right. You think all the red cars are after you.
Yeah.
Just because you've seen 7 that day that were perpetrators, you think all the red cars are after that. They do the same concept applies. They'll wear like the example I told him. Let's say that you're seeing people wear West Virginia logos, right, or sports memorabilia all day, or all the vehicles that you're seeing are like big patriotic wraps and stuff like that, like huge trucks that stand out. Like, you know, that
You're not going to see that all the time.
in isolation, it's normal. But when you see it everywhere all day, you're like, it makes you, you're like, it does. It makes you mad. It's like, why is this happening? And I don't think I told you this yet, but early on in my targeting, before I understood what it was, what I was seeing is these individuals, they were wearing FBI, they were wearing U.S. Marshal hats, ATF hats, like federal agencies.
Just to fuck with you.
No, but
Because
it says female body investigator under it.
And later on, like this was subsequent to me finding out, you know, what it was going on. But what I initially thought was, I'm seeing all this, right? I'm thinking that I'm about to go down for a major, major crime because I'm seeing the amount of resources that they're spending, you know.
How much do you think they spent during that 2.5 years?
Dude,
$1
I would say between $1 million and $2 million. Knowing how much it costs and it might be more than that. Like how impractical.
Hey, they spent $2 million to keep you straight.
And I help a lot of people now, you know, and I'm gonna go and help a lot more people now. You know, but was it a benevolent purpose that they started this with? I don't think so. You know, some of the stuff that they did like was really.
Ryan, there was another thing that the CIA had for kids in the 80s and 90s in school. I think it was called the Gifted Program or something.
Okay.
Did you hear about that one?
No.
This was it's called Gifted Program, that they would take kids out of like elementary school and say, hey, you're a gifted kid. We're going to put you on this special.
Fuck, who's telling us that?
I was telling you about that on the last episode.
Somebody else was confirming it though.
Yeah. I forget who.
I know.
Yeah. But it was also called Gifted Program. It's part of MK Ultra. After MK Ultra, they did something called the Gifted Program.
Well, yeah. They say it's a generational thing too. Like there's this theory that, and I believe that part too, because what I was observing was, let's say it's like a grown adult, right? And there's like 16, 15, 14-year-old guys, right? In a Walmart, right? And it's like the guy was like, the older adult was like coordinating their movements. And they'll have like, there's reports that they use an app to basically coordinate their movements and communications. They can essentially like, they'll be recording a lot. They'll be holding up phones a lot and pointing them at you a lot. You know, like either to literally live stream you or to get images to upload them to like wherever they're going to or whoever's like directing the operation.
You know what you're wearing.
Right. That. And there's also the theory that, like I said earlier, is that it's streamed over the darknet. Like, and they think the elites are watching this real time and like placing bets on who's going to crack first or who's going to win. You know?
Is the dark net somewhere that's things are untraceable, or is it?
No, they can darknet, man. So it's through the Tor network.
The onion router, right?
Yeah, the onion router, and it's because it's supposed to have layers and layers and layers of protection. It just bounces your traffic all over different nodes, and so like.
But it's still trackable.
Yeah, that the Department of Defense developed it.
Yeah,
know?
DARPA did.
Yeah. So they can infiltrate it. I mean, if they want to. It does afford the average person like. If you want to go buy some dumb stuff and send some crazy stuff to the mail, I mean, you might be able to do it and you might not, you know, but,
and that's how you end up on a watch list, by the way, if you do.
Yeah. So like
I'll get on the onion router.
Yeah. Which I did. So there's about like 10 different ways I could have ended up on the watch list, you know, like I very well may have like been there for like good reason, you know.
We almost worried that this episode might not happen because you were worried about like being on a no-fly list or something.
I literally was worried. Yeah. And it's like, yeah. And I got through like that. Like I was seriously worried about like them giving me a lot of like, cause like I got off supervised release, September of this past year. So
have you flown since, or
this is the first time since I got off supervised release?
So what was the last time you flew on a plane?
Con Air. God, the last time I flew on a plane was with the Feds for Con Air.
What year was this?
This was let's see, it was 2020. Yeah,
2020. And how was this flight compared to Con Air?
Man, given that I wasn't sitting there like this and I didn't have to help my buddy like eat beside me, like I remember, I'll never forget that. He was in a black box. So in the Feds,
what's a black box?
A black box, right? It's literally a black box. Normal shackles, you got your hands like here and you can move your hands like this, right?
Like a regular handcuff.
Right. If you have a record where you have some violence or you have a certain charge or you've ever assaulted the cops, they'll black box you because you're more of a security risk. When you got that black box here, you don't got as much freedom of movement with your hand.
But you can hit someone with a black box on the head, no?
No, it's connected to your
to your stomach.
Yeah, it's connected to your the
waist belt.
You got chains across your waist. You got them across your.
You had that or just him?
No, I had normal shackles.
Got it.
So I could move my hands like this. He couldn't, you know.
And he's next to you.
And he's next to me. Yeah. So my friend Chris Gray.
What was he in for?
Possession of firearm by felon. But he'd been in and out forever. He's a great fighter. He's why my nose is broke.
Why, he taught you how to fight?
No, I mean I kind of knew how to fight, but we were like best friends at the low that we ended up going to the same low. And
what's low?
The low security. So federal prison. There's minimum. There's low. There's medium. There's high. We ended up falling to the same low, and we were friends, but we were always fighting each other and shit.
For fun? Like sparring?
Sometimes, yeah, but other times, no. Like, you know, we're just mad, you know, disrespecting me or like he felt disrespected. And
like, what's a form of disrespect in prison that would like lead to a fight? Like the bare minimum level of disrespect that requires an ass.
I mean, he's like one time, the time that I broke my nose, right? He just said something to me that like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said I lied and I didn't lie. And I was like, you're not going to say that on my name. Like, you know, and so I was like, get up, we're going to the bathroom. You know, at the low, like you go to a bathroom to fight because it's like wide open space and everything. That's where everybody fights. And there's no cameras in there. And so I go to put my shoes on, you know. At a medium, you got to have your shoes on. That's the difference between a low and a medium. Like I can walk around in flip-flops at a low. And so I got to put on my shoes and
so this is like planned. Like, okay, let's go put on our shoes.
Yeah. And so, and he's like, all right, come on. Yeah, you know, like he's raised on the street, man. He's been in group homes his whole life. He's fought since he was a 6-year-old, you know. So, I mean, this ain't new to him. And so if I call him out, he's definitely going to go in there. And so we start going at it, man. And one thing, I can take a lot of hits. Like I got a high pain tolerance, and like they had to stop I couldn't stay on my feet. That's all I remember is I can't stay on my feet because it's slippery in there. He had boots on. I had these like, you know, prison tennis shoes. You know, could not stay on my feet, and I didn't think I was getting beat that much. You know. They come and stop it. Like some other guys stopped it. And in the low too, you can get your one-on-ones, you know, where at a medium or a pin, you're probably like, everybody's going to jump, you know, if somebody, you know, and he's a black guy and, you know, I can pass, you know, for mixed or white in there, but so that didn't really come into play at the low. But, yeah.
They have weapons there?
Yeah, they got weapons, but the most common thing is a lock and a sock. That's the most common thing. There's shanks too, but the most common is a lock and a sock. That thing will do some damage if you
That'll
connect.
crack your skull.
Yes, if you connect with somebody, like it does damage. But yeah, they pulled him off me, and I mean, I get up. I mean, I wasn't knocked out, but my nose. I mean, blood was everywhere. I mean, it was everywhere, all over there's shower stalls on each side. It got on the people who had to stop the fight.
So what happens? Guards come, you're like, oh,
They-
I slipped and fell?
They didn't see it. And this was COVID too. So my face got fucked up. I mean, it got bad. So that's why my nose looks like this. Like that's what to this day. And it, I mean, both eyes messed up. We had masks at the time, COVID masks. That was the saving grace that we.
Because if they would have saw it,
Yeah, then they would have pulled me aside, and then they'd have ran the cameras, and then both of us would have got pulled to the shoe, So I had to spend another 3 months in the shoe, But yeah, that's like to this day, that is the worst I've ever lost a fight. And I still we fought like we would fight other people, like we would disrespect, like if somebody disrespected me, like he'd go with me or vice versa with him. But
Is disrespect that big of a thing in
yeah,
prison?
man, that's all you got. That's all you got.
Mhm.
All you got is your respect. And so that to this day, it means a lot to me too. To this day, if you don't know respect going into prison, you're gonna learn it real quick, or you're gonna have a hard time. I had it before. I respect all people, but yeah, like you're stripped, you're equalized in prison. Your money doesn't mean as much. What you did on the street didn't mean as much. You're all in there with eating porridge, sad, struggling. And so, every man has to give each other respect. And I think any man who's been in prison will tell you the same thing. Yeah. Same thing. But, it's not like I learned that from prison, but it became like more of a core value for me.
So Ryan, besides lying, or saying someone lied when they didn't lie, what are some other forms of that can be taken as disrespect that can lead to a fight?
There's so many things in prisons and jails.
Like prison rules in general.
So
Yeah, like
everybody's
what are some prison rules?
Everybody is in everybody's business in jail and prison. Like if somebody gets up and somebody sweeps the steps that morning and they don't usually do that, there'll be multiple people. Hey, did you see so and so going and sweeping the steps? He must be trying to take over the steps or something. Just some dumb stuff like that.
And that'll cause a fight?
Yeah, it's something as dumb as that, or reaching over somebody's food. Don't do that. Getting behind somebody too closely.
We found that out.
Yeah.
What's in that?
Getting behind and you'd be surprised how little stealing happens. If somebody steals something from you in prison, you usually have done something. It's usually not just a random thing. Because it's policed so heavily. But at camps, lows, mediums, and highs, you're going to have different rules. At the high and the United States Penitentiary, there's very stringent politics, very stringent rules.
Like what?
So you arrive on that yard, and you go out to general population. Whoever you're riding with is going to pull up on you. They'll see who you are. Like, you white, you black, you Mexican. They'll come pull up on you. Like, hey, who are you? Where you from? What kind of charge you got? You tell them. They'll ask you straight up. You hot? Did you cooperate? You got a sex charge? And you tell them. They'll give you a certain amount of time, depending on the yard, to get your paperwork. And you just got to make it happen. And if you don't make it happen, if you don't come up with that paperwork, then you're off the yard. And you can do it voluntarily, you can check yourself into the shoe, or you can try to fight it out, But
if you're not allowed on the yard, you just kick it in your room.
You're sent to the shoe until they can redesignate you to another yard. And then you're going to have the same thing happen to you there.
The guards are redesignating you?
The BOP, the Bureau of Prison does. So Grand Prairie is the place that designates. So whoever does it there, it can be a long process. You can be stuck in the shoe for a month, 2 months, 3 months, sometimes waiting for, to be designated. So, it's not pleasant, I can tell you the shoe is not pleasant. So if you're an individual in that situation, I feel sorry for you. I really do. Yeah, that's why, that's United States Penitentiary. Now, And also the USP, you gotta have your boots on the minute you get up in the morning. You boot up. You got working out it tends to be mandatory. It's like with most cars, it definitely is for the white people. Because white people are the minority in prison, tend to be, and they got to like go like really hard and intensely, together. Mexicans tend to like control a lot in the jails or in federal prisons just because there's so many of them. They're organized. They help each other. And that's one thing that like I didn't see as much with whites and blacks. Is like the brotherhood, the looking out for each other, taking care of each other. That don't happen, near as much with the other races. Once you get down to a medium, it's a little more lax. Paperwork rules lighten. So with the United States Penitentiary, they're going to want to see all your stuff, man. They want to see your PSI, which is your pre-sentence investigation, PSR, pre-sentence report, whatever you want to call it. It's a very in-depth report of who you are, whether you cooperated, it'll say it in there. But sometimes it doesn't capture it. Sometimes it's not in there, but like that you cooperated. So they have to look to other sources. So they'll have to look towards, it's called the Statement of Reasons. It's something that the judge has to fill out when he issues your sentence, which is basically why you got the time that you got. A lot of the times in there, he will say cooperated, and if not, the go-to is the sentencing hearings transcript. That's where you're sentenced, and that's where everything is said in open court. It's going to be in that transcript. So they will literally go through the entire transcript to see everything that was said, to see if there's any reference to a Rule 35B, which is a mechanism after you get sentenced, where you basically give them information that leads to a conviction or investigating another person, and a 5K 1.1 comes before you get sentenced. So that's called substantial assistance. That's section 5K 1.1 of the United States Sentencing Guidelines. When you hear people snitching, that's the most common mechanism. They got a 5K. That's what they say. 5K 1.1. If you don't pass that, if you can't produce that, then you're not going on the pen. And when you get to the medium, though, they're usually a PSR. They want to see some type of paperwork. You show them that PSR.
Well, how doesn't the government have the paperwork? I'm confused.
You're not actually supposed to. They don't give it to inmates coming onto the yard. They take it from you because this exact thing, because of what I'm describing. But the inmates run the yard anyway. They don't run the yard. So that's still the rule. So you have to do it in some roundabout way to get your paperwork in. You got to like send it from the outside, through mail, through legal mail.
Got it.
So the mediums, like I said, it's just less stringent with the paperwork, a little bit less stringent with the cars and everything. Once you get down to the low, it depends on the low again, but for the most part, lows are similar to camps. They don't have cells. Mediums and pens have cells where you got your own room, you got 2 beds. At the lows and the camps, they're cubes. It's an open dorm. There's cubes. So it's like 6 feet high.
It's like a cubicle.
Yeah. So you like if you stand up, you can see into just over the ledge to the next cell beside. That a lot of people like that open movement. I personally don't. I like to have a cell. I like to have my own like a little home base. But it's significantly less dangerous to be at a low in a camp. Camp, they call them club fed, but like they're still pretty crappy. They're not fun. They don't have tennis courts. They don't have pools. The cool thing is that they don't have fences. So psychologically, I feel like that's a boost. Knowing, hey, I can just walk off, but they're gonna catch you real quick.
Yeah.
So that's the number one thing, man. Life's gonna be super difficult for you if you are a sex offender in prison.
They don't get treated very well.
Yeah, you don't get any privileges, even at yards that are designated for sex offenders, like Fort Dix and things like that.
What's it called?
Fort Dix. Yeah. FORTDIX. Ironically, that and then Elkton, like that yard that I got sent to, it had a bunch of sex offenders there, and the time got so significantly like relaxed, man. And I I walked out in the yard with like flip flops and like a sleeveless shirt, man. I got yelled at like immediately, but I could move freely. It was just like different than what I was used to, and like it would not have flown me anywhere else. Like for me and like me and one other, like me and the dude I fought with, we had our own table, had our own TV and stuff. Like that couldn't fly anywhere. It's two like a light skinned dude and a black dude having their own like TV and could sit wherever I wanted in the cafeteria. You know, like I like to show my paperwork, you know, but like people don't like really push up on you for it, you know. So yeah, that's the main differences. As far as rules go, that's mainly it, you know.
What's the knocking on the table
Like if it's like a lot of
before you get up?
yeah, it's like supposed to be like a sign of respect, you know, to the people around you. Comes back to that respect.
But
you know.
what's the origins of that? Is it to like just let people know you're getting up? Yeah, you're not going to attack them. You're just
Yeah,
getting up.
that's my understanding of it. Yeah, it's that and I mean, there's also some strange like depending on who your cellie is, like how you like use the bathroom and stuff like that. Like some people, like I've had cellies like when they like be like doing number two like the whole time, and they're loud. These toilets they're stainless steel, and like when you hit that button, it like literally could like suck you down into it. Like it's like
Like an airplane.
yeah, exactly. And so the whole time they'll be going because
They don't want
they
the
don't want to
smell.
hear, they don't want to smell, and they also don't want to hear the sound. And same thing goes for peeing. Like some people don't want to hear another man peeing, you know, next to their bed, you know, so they'll like hit the thing. So yeah, you see a lot of fun. You see a lot of strange things in there. Everybody is the biggest trapper ever in history. Everybody was moving endless amount of, you know, weight. Everybody's got so much money. Everybody's got so much on the outside except
And everyone's innocent.
yeah, oh, of course. Yeah, of course. And
Are you also doing consulting for people going to prison as well?
yes.
So what type of work are you doing now, mainly?
So outside of my AI work, the bulk of my work is federal post-conviction stuff like I've explained.
Mm-hmm.
I'll also do basically case reviews, discovery reviews, and this can be based on state law too. It doesn't have to be federal. I can take cases out of any state where they have just been charged and they want an assessment of, you know, what am I looking at here? Like was the evidence strong?
Or if my attorney's doing a good job or not.
Yeah, is my attorney screwing me right now? What do you think about this? Should I evaluate the evidence that they have and tell me, do I need to hire a lawyer or
Take a plea or
yeah. So that saves people a lot of money. The consulting for the surveillance, that's a large portion.
how are people finding you?
All through TikTok and Instagram. I've had a website now, rebuildwithryan.com for about 3 weeks. So people can book through there now. But prior to that, I didn't advertise. I haven't operated as a business. All I did was I got on social media.
And what are your socials?
My socials are Rebuild with Ryan. I'm Rebuild with Ryan on all platforms. You search Rebuild with Ryan, I'll come up. And I'm like, I dominate that space right now. Federal post conviction, like that, I dominate that.
Mm-hmm.
Had been federal prison tips, and that's done. So I enjoy a lot of trust right now. I enjoy high credibility, and I'm going to endeavor to keep that. You know, as I go to get licensed and everything. So the goal is to practice so-called ad hoc out of any federal jurisdiction. So that I don't have to be admitted in every jurisdiction. I can practice under an attorney there. And the term is ad hoc. So that way I don't have to be admitted, but I can still take a case out of any federal jurisdiction, which is the issue that I don't face as a consultant, where I can take work anywhere, you know? So I didn't take to social media with the initial intention of developing a consulting business. I got on social media originally just because, you know, I want people to see this. Hey, I'm rebuilding my life. I lost everything. I lost everything. I lost everything I loved. Everything I loved. And then what befell me was a situation that I never could have fathomed. If somebody came to me and told me the things that I'm explaining to everybody, I wouldn't have been able to comprehend it. Like, I'd be like, are you sure? Like what, you know, I didn't think this existed. And it didn't, like I told you, it hurts. The truth hurts, man. The truth hurts. And this is the truth. This happens. And it can happen to you. 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 Any of you. And so I didn't get on there starting to like, a lot of people do that. They get on social media because this is happening to them. They start posting everything, because they've got all this, they think it is it's sensational. It is. But when you get online, you start showing these isolated clips. It looks like nonsense. It's easy to discredit. It doesn't prove anything. And so your account goes nowhere. You got the Lisa, you got the blonde girl, stalked by the feds. There's like one other major account. And then you've got the Targeted Justice Organization, who is like literally in this protracted, long legal battle. The case is called Targeted Justice v. Garland. Merrick Garland was the FBI official who they had to name in the lawsuit at the time that it was brought. So that's why it's still called this. But yeah, like I didn't get on social media I knew that story's special. I know it's special. And I think like you told me the game with
the movie.
Yeah, the movie, The Game.
Yeah. So what you described is there's a movie that came out in 1997 with Michael Douglas and Sean Penn. It's called The Game.
Yeah. And
I don't want to give anything away about the movie. It's one of my favorite movies, but you should definitely watch it.
Yeah. And I did read a summary of it. And
don't talk about it. Let people that want to watch it because it is a really good movie.
It leads you to believe that, it might be based on some of the things that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know about that movie, which is very cool. The gaslighting, all
just
that.
Everything. Yeah. It's The Game. It's called The Game with Michael Douglas and Sean Penn.
Yeah, it'll be a good watch. But I knew if I get online and I start, talking about this, like I'm gonna get scrutinized.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get scrutinized.
Well, I mean, it takes a lot of guts to get on here and talk about your story, and then just talk about everything that is going on.
And I know a lot of people do see that they consider me brave because of they think. I mean, it is scary. It's scary, man. Like, but I'm at an impasse. Like I'm like I told you, I'm at a stalemate. I'm not trying to fight the FBI. I'm not trying to fight the CIA. I'm not trying to fight the Department of Homeland Security. Like
you just want to rebuild your life and move on and be a good person in society. You're becoming a pastor. You want to become an attorney and get your life together.
Yeah, and I can't because I can't stop this by myself. If I could, I would. But I'm sorry for everybody who's dealing with this. I support you how I can. I don't charge much money for those people. Like for those individuals, I don't it's like very affordable, for them because I know that they're struggling. But yeah, I got on there and I called it Rebuild with Ryan because that's what it is. It's in process. It's a rebuild.
Well, it's interesting and exciting to watch your journey rebuilding your life.
Yeah,
for the writer.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you.
Great story.
Thank you.
Appreciate you sharing with us today.
Thank you guys. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Cool.